you said you hit it.
Okay. Now, here we are. Back into the house here. Locker Room Sports, guys. We appreciate you for coming by. And if this is the first time you're scrolling by and you're checking us out live, Big Matt co-hosts us with the most, Diamond Dean. Every Sunday night at 6 o'clock, we talk about college football most of the time. And tonight, because we've been through all the SEC teams, we're going to do some high school football around our great state of Alabama. And next week, we'll do maybe our favorite matchups for college, some good players, our early Heisman people, who's some top linebackers, who we like on the defensive side of the ball, or stuff like that. So we'll start doing that because, a month away, we're going to play football.
That'll be fun. Yeah, 5 weeks. Well, 6.
Yeah. So we got just a few more shows. It's
the first game, not the 30th or 29th.
Yeah.
And the 31st, that'll be a big day.
Yeah, because there's a Friday game.
Yeah.
I think LSU and is it LSU Notre Dame play?
Big game, isn't it?
Yeah. Play in Vegas.
Yeah.
I think it's a Friday game. Y'all help me if I'm wrong.
They've got them spread out. That there may be some that Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I think there's a Sunday game too.
And of course there's a big one Monday. I don't know who it is yet. We can look at it. But
well, next week come back
on Labor Day.
Yeah, come back next week and we'll start going through some of our favorite matchups. And if you missed all our schedule breakdowns through the summer, hey, just go back over on the page and just go back there and check them out.
Speaking of receivers, there's a good one, Luther Burden.
Yeah, he will be back too.
Yeah.
And they should, but they don't have their tailback, Schrader.
Yeah,
and they lost.
They
lost like 5 or 6 on defense.
They had a good team, but he was a big reason.
Well, they brought back
Schrader, SEC Player of the Year, I think. Well, no, Daniels was, but Schrader might have been the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. I think Daniels was the MVP.
They had, let's see here. It seemed like they had like 8 back on offense and like 5 back on defense. I wrote everybody down right here, and I can't. Texas, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Michigan, USC, Clemson, South Carolina.
Heck, everybody we've got is got everybody back.
How could I miss Missouri? Because I wrote down like everybody that was on that list.
I know you did Missouri. I think we picked them go 8-4, 8-9, 4, 9-3, 8-4. I think they'll do good. I don't think he's going to be on the hot seat.
No, but there's some people that are like they're going to win 10 games or like they're 11. I'm like,
I got a tough schedule.
Well, they lost a lot of defensive players. That matters in the SEC.
Right. And they were good on defense, but they weren't great. Their offense is,
I think they have 5 or 6 back on defense. But anyway, that's kind of what we'll start doing after this week. And we always like to come in after our media day. We had our up here in town.
Yeah, it went well.
Talk about all the local teams and had a good time as usual. Got to cut up with the guys a little bit and see the coaches and had a good time.
Yes, sir.
Next year will be year 5.
I'm trying to think. We had 5, 6 guys there, 7.
Yeah.
6 or 7 reporters.
WQSB, FNN.
And there was a couple that didn't ask questions that were there, So there was probably 9 people there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's good for the turnout. Dino Mike is on here with us. He used to do draft news with us and NASCAR breakdowns. And
is that Mike Weeks?
Yeah.
Really?
I thought college football started back this week. It's everywhere. You look in #NCAA 25. Yeah, I started playing it today.
I told him yesterday, Georgia's tight end was transferring to Alabama. He didn't believe me though. So Oscar Delp. They think he may be as good as Bowers. What do you think? Mike didn't say that, but I've heard that. Is that possible?
Yeah.
To be as good as Bowers?
Well,
possible.
We just have to wait.
I would take him in Alabama, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. But I made a player. Mike was talking about NCAA 25. I made my player's name is Rocco Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 3-star tailback from Mobile, Alabama. And I signed to be a tailback there at Purdue.
Right.
And I've worked my way up to 2nd string now.
Oh, Purdue going to win it all?
No, God, they're not real good.
Somebody said that
we won 6 games and we
3
lost
in a row with Oregon or something.
We lost to Iowa State in our bowl game, and we went to Independence Bowl. We lost to Iowa State 33-30.
Yeah, good matchup, Iowa State and Purdue.
But I'm not getting to play a lot because I'm still just 2nd team. So they put me in some.
But you still get to work the plays, right?
No. when you play on Road to Glory, you're your player. If you're not,
Oh,
if you're not in, you don't play.
okay.
Now there's other games you can play.
Well, what is everybody playing right now?
All different. Some
Okay,
people playing Dynasty mode where they'll pick their favorite team and play for a championship where you can get in the college football playoff. Some people are just playing, just playing the regular game where you can control the team. This mode here in the game is Road to Glory. So you're controlling your personal player.
Just that's all.
Yep.
Okay.
If you're
but he ain't got in yet.
Just this year, I've got to play some. I'm in my second year.
Oh, well, it takes time.
Yeah, the first year I just worked out a lot, and you run a lot of plays, and you learn to practice, and you get him better, stronger, faster. You get points for doing stuff right, and so you can add them to the player. And so I started playing it this morning after I mopped the floor and washed and dried some towels. I still have to do all that stuff first. I can't just be a kid and play the game all day.
So what do they do if you don't do nothing with this guy? Just act like he didn't work out and transfer?
Well, you get NIL deals. I mean, like I got an NIL deal with a barbershop in town.
Oh, okay.
And it gives you like experience points for other stuff.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Can you have that player that just gets focused on other stuff and don't do right? That which happens.
Well, you just don't study because you have points you have to spend on study time to study, like when you have midterms and finals and you got to have a 2.0 to play or they won't let you play.
Huh. That's pretty interesting. I didn't realize it was that deep into it now.
Yeah, you can control.
I remember the players saying I created this 3-star and but I didn't know. I thought they were still working their team.
You can in a different mode. There's like 3 or 4 different games in the game you can play.
Okay. Well, now, it wasn't like that before, was it?
Yeah.
Back when I played in 2005?
Yeah. They had Road to Glory and stuff then.
Okay. Well, I just played the regular old PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Which I liked it.
Yeah. It's fun.
I tell you who I was good with was Kansas State. Kansas State was pretty good back then.
Yeah.
And had that old Darren Sproles. And, oh, man, I wasn't bad.
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
And this game is who's number one at going into my second season let them play 2 weeks.
Who's that?
SMU.
Man, they're talking them up this year. They're probably gonna be in the top 20.
Alabama finished the year number 8. They lost in the playoffs to Oregon. And Oregon played Ohio State, and Ohio State beat Oregon for the title.
Wow. I hope they don't.
Georgia lost to Penn State in the playoffs.
Golly.
And Ohio State put out Penn State. It's pretty accurate.
That could very well happen.
When you look the bracket to it, it was all like, okay. And the Heisman finalists are Carson Beck, Jalen Hurts, and Luther Burton.
Really?
And then Howard won it.
And Will Howard won it. Yeah. Which I expect him to have a good
Junkins
year.
was in a finalist list early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he may have got hurt in the game or something. Yeah, Ohio State's loaded.
Yeah, they are.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's what we come to do. We're going to talk about some high school stuff. So next week, we'll start back in our college stuff, and we'll have all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We'll keep everybody busy. We'll keep you happy, and we'll keep you coming back to wanting to see what we're talking about. It'll be interesting. So, Andrew couldn't make it on to clue us in on some Andalusia, Booker T, Jackson. So
I'm sure all them teams
they're good. And
very good.
We wish he could come on and break some of those down, give us a little more info. And I'm sure JB knows about. He's from down that way too. So.
Right. Well, he comes from a pretty storied football team.
All right, sir.
Got a good history. I mean,
how's it going, guys?
What are you doing, JB?
Man, I've been playing the NCAA 25 game. Currently running the Troy football program into the ground because I'm terrible at the game.
You've been playing a tough schedule. Troy playing Alabama, Oregon.
I scheduled Alabama, Georgia, and Iowa all on the road in the first 3 games, and I didn't do too bad against Alabama, but the game didn't save, so I simulated it and lost bad. I lost on a heartbreaking field goal to Georgia, and then I managed to beat Iowa. So I upped the difficulty, and oh my goodness.
I'm not getting off the subject of NCAA 20, but Iowa's supposed to be fantastic this year.
Yeah, I think
they had the most starters back
in the country. They got a lot of guys back.
Yeah,
that defense, and hopefully the offense will be a little bit better. At least score like 20 points a game. I mean,
Their
That's too
offense
much
was
to ask.
bad last year. Yeah.
Are you playing on All-American or Heisman mode or what?
Well, I was on varsity. I was kind of trying to work my way up from freshman all the way to Heisman, but I've just went full Heisman, and it's not going good. It's
No,
not
I'm
going
sure
good.
they have tournaments for this. Do we know anybody, or are y'all qualified or good enough to make a national tournament? Not yet. Do we know anybody that could be?
I started a Florida Atlantic dynasty with my offensive coordinator. We're 2 games in the season, and my quarterback has 2 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. So.
Ooh, 14.
I mean, like, I'm allergic to making good reads.
Well, JB, tell everybody a little bit about you. And of course, you can find him over on YouTube, but kind of tell him what he's kind of new to YouTube, sort of, and he's wanting to get into this kind of stuff. And I've helped him out a little bit on some things there, help make some images just to help him in his process. So, of course, everybody I think knows you're from Reeltown.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that, tell everybody kind of about yourself.
Well, my name is Joshua Bentley. That's my real name. I started out at Tallahassee. Ended up transferring to Reeltown my 10th grade year. So I graduated from Reeltown class of 2018, part of the first wrestling team in school history, actually. So that was a pretty cool experience. And I run this channel covering Reeltown athletics. And then I run another channel called Football Talk with JB, where I've been interviewing several coaches and stuff throughout the state, coaches and players. So
I listened to the one you did with Catholics coach. Coach Johnson.
Coach Johnson. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great guy. I really enjoyed interviewing him. I interviewed Dax Nunn, who's the new passing game coordinator at New Hope High School. He's a really good guy. He said he's excited to follow my coaching journey one day, or when I'm able to get into it. So I've met a lot of great guys. Coach Cantrell Tyson, offensive coordinator at Bullitt County, great guy. I've met a lot of great guys. I interviewed Harrison Rogers, who's an outside linebacker for Catholic, and I interviewed Coach Marco Bryant from Coosa Christian, another great guy. He's going to try to help me possibly get Rush Probst and Coach Paul Benefield on. I got to call him tomorrow, and so we can talk about it.
But we got to get Benefield on here.
Yeah, we've had Rush come on up here last year.
Yeah, was it last year? Yeah.
He come in the house, and him and Mark did, and we put him on the couch over here, and my mic setup was a little different then, and we stayed on about 2 hours, and we just talked about his past of where Rush come from and how he got into football, and he loves tennis, and he's good. He's a good baseball coach, and he's good at basketball, and we just kind of,
Yeah, I thought I did pretty good in middle school basketball until I talked to him.
That's how I discovered you guys.
Well, I told him, I said, I think I'm about 90 and 50 in middle school basketball. And he's like, I think I went 280 and 20.
Good Lord. Talking about pros.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's how I discovered you guys was that interview with Coach Probst and Coach O'Brien.
Okay.
Yeah. We've had O'Brien on a few times.
I used to actively go and search for Coach Rush Probst interviews on YouTube a lot, like every day.
Well, we were the only place in the state that he actually sat down with. He did a few radio call-ins, and he'd spend 10, 15 minutes. But when he was up here in Gadsden, we were the only show that he come and sat down. When you Googled it, this is the show that come up.
Well, he knew we wasn't going to barbecue him.
No, I don't care about his past. That's for, you can read about what happened and what he's done and what he's been into. I'm looking at his record and what he's done as a coach. I want to know. I like history. Me and Dean are both history majors. I just like to know. You pick the minds of those guys. He's won a lot of football games, and I just kind of like to know.
Over 200 or 300. I'm sure.
Yeah. Where did you? What gave you the idea to even start coaching?
Right.
Was it just, in relation with your family, and then just some stories about? Gosh, man, he's won so many football games.
Yeah, he has.
In both states. So we were just interested in that. But y'all can find him, find JB on YouTube, go over to his channel and subscribe. And he's doing a lot of interviews and stuff right now. So if you want to catch up on some interviews and stuff with coaches, that's where you want to do it at. So we'll start off with some teams, JB, and we'll kind of go we'll go round robin. I'll do one, and Dean will do one, and we'll come to you, and you can talk about one of the teams that we brought up, and then you can get into some teams around there. And I know you're Reeltown, but teams that they're going to play, because your people's going to watch this too, and some teams around the area, from down that way, or like you said, Millry. I'm curious about Millry.
Yeah, they've had a good team,
and we don't go real big on because we just don't have 5, 6, 7, 8 football. So we're like y'all. We're good with 1 through 3, or even some 4A teams. Smaller, because we just don't have big schools up here besides.
Now, JB, where is Reeltown located?
Well, Reeltown is about. Well, it's located in Notasulga, Alabama. It's a community in Notasulga, Alabama. It's about, I'd say, probably about 20 minutes outside of Auburn, maybe.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, what?
I'll give you the first one, and I'll start with them first because they're closer to us up here, and this is probably the only or one or two teams that's even kind of close to us here. A 1A Region 8 team, Valley Head, Coach Hammond. He's going to have a lot of kids back, and I see some of the kids, the parents of some of the kids that I see around here some, and they're really excited about the season. The backfield is going to be kind of the same as it was last year. They've got a lot of odd guys back. They're going to open at home with Cedar Bluff. They went 10-2 last year. Now, Valley Head did win that region up there, but they lost in the playoffs last year 27-6 to Marion County. And they will go to Collinsville in November, which is a big rival game for them up there on the mountain.
Yeah, Valley Head. I mean, they've got one back two backs that gained 1,000 yards, and their linebacker, I think he led the team in tackles, which we know his daddy, Neil Johnson. You know Neil, don't you? Paula Hill. Mm-hmm. It's their boy, Ben. I think he's going to be he's going to be in the backfield too. Mm-hmm. So they've got 3 good running backs, and they'll hit. They're tough. And
they open with an old traditional rival. They're going to open at home with Cedar Bluff, our local team over here. Me and Dean went to school over there at Cedar Bluff. So who do you like in that Region 8?
Well, I like the team I went over in this or looked at was Woodville. I think their program's improved tremendously.
Yeah, they have,
They went 6-4 last year, but they're in that. But they've came so far.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, Woodville was a W.
They ain't even been playing football, but
you played them.
Years,
you didn't even second guess it. You're not going to lose that ball game.
Yeah, it was a homecoming game, JB. Woodville up here got scheduled for homecoming, and no offense to them, because the new coach they got, he's done a good job.
He has, but they've got a lot of players coming back, but they've got to contend with Spring Garden, Valley Head, which is not easy. Galesville's also in there, Raglan, Appalachian. But so the big question is can they get one of those 4 spots, which they did not last year. I think they had a tiebreaker, and I think Cedar Bluff did get in.
Yep.
I think there's an outside shot they can, but, obviously people are going to predict Spring Garden and Valley Head to win that. And most riders.
Well, riders in the north up here.
And Raglan's got a good team. Appalachian's usually good.
Appalachian's always got always good.
But I think they've got a shot at getting in that. They're not a stepping. They're not a, I don't know.
Stepping stone.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a W for us. Those days are over.
Homecoming game, I will just get Louisville. It's not anymore.
No, but that's the teams they got to compete with. It's not an easy schedule. No. You got to beat.
If they can win a few of those and then upset one of those teams, they can come in 4.
Yes.
5-3. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I've talked to Coach Knapp at Galesville, and he was like, that's going to be a tough game.
They're better.
And he goes, that's going to be
which is good.
It's not a gimme.
Yeah, we're proud for the community. I mean, not just to be a homecoming game anymore. They can hold their chest up and say, you know what, we're going to come play football.
Well, no, and I didn't think Cedar Bluff was bad last year. I think they went 6-5, and Woodland beat them. I mean, Woodville beat them out there.
Yeah, Hutton Tailback was just, they said he ran all up and down the field.
Yeah, and they got a lot of players back. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking for good things out of Woodville.
All right, JB, who you like around your way down there in the South? Just a 1A team from anywhere around that way that you like.
A 1A team? Well, I could go with the obvious two answers, Leroy and Elba, but I'm gonna go with a team that I'm gonna go with Maplesville. We
hadn't heard of them in a while. What's going on? I haven't heard
much out of them.
Well,
what's up with them?
Their coach ended up leaving to go to T.R. Miller. And I mean, they've got a really good coach, and they've got a really good running back. I can't. I know his last name is McCrary. He was only an 8th grader last year.
Yes.
Maplesville is going to be a championship contender for a few years because solely because of him. I mean, just like Elba with Alvin Henderson. Alvin Henderson kind of keeps them as a contender. I think this guy's got a chance to do the same thing for Maplesville.
McCreary. Dane, what?
What was that was Maplesville's had some great teams. I think I do remember hearing a little bit about him. What grade did you say he was in last year?
Do what?
What grade was he in last year?
He was only an 8th grader last year.
Okay, we did hear a little bit about him.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Has he got a big brother that may have graduated a few years ago?
Who was the guy that was Dunlap? The guy that was so
Dunlap,
good.
I go back and watch some of those state championship games from Maplesville just to watch Dunlap play because Dunlap is one of my favorite running backs in the state of Alabama.
At Troy still.
He started some at Troy, didn't he? Did he not start a little bit at Troy? I think he started at corner one year, didn't he?
Yeah.
I kind of lost track of him after he left high school.
Well, he got injured.
Yeah.
He had some bad. I think maybe a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I think one year he started, which didn't shock me.
Well, he was fun to watch.
I mean, he was a 3-time 1A player of the year or state championship game player of the year.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I'm interested in Maplesville too. Cedar Bluff played them that year in state, and man, they had some guys.
Yeah.
They won. I think that Cedar Bluff game was the first of a three-peat. I want to say it was 2014, right?
16. No, that was the last of their
last of 3 people.
No, their first one was Hubbardsville. They absolutely blew Hubbardsville out.
Wow.
I know the second one was Pickens County.
Was it close?
I can't remember the results of that game. I don't think it was.
Cedar Bluff 51-24, so it wasn't really.
I remember Pickens losing bad in that. I'm pretty sure. Somebody can call me out, and I'll admit when I'm wrong, but I remember seeing the score, and I thought, good gracious almighty.
Yeah, we played them.
We're just not going to be able to win a 1A.
We played them in 2018 and 2019. 2018, they beat us 34-14 at our place.
Crap.
And 2019 was the year we went to the state championship game. And we went on the road, and they scored on the first drive on us, make it 7-0. And next thing you know, we're up 33-7 on them. So that's kind of when I knew that game was when I knew we had a really special football team that year. Our only regular season loss was to Ranburn, who's always hard nosed and physical, and we lost that game by a point. And the state championship game didn't go the way we thought it would, but the moment was too big for us at that point.
Yeah, they were building. Y'all getting ready, and I'll say now Region 7. 1A. I got a few other 1A teams here, and I'll do this one, and then I'll talk about the next one. So I got more on this other one. Addison, they're Region 7. They was Region 8 last year. They went 9-3, 6-1 in that region. They were number 2 behind Meek. Now they opened with 2A Winston County.
Yeah.
I'll just say, in seeing Addison play live in person with my own little 4 eyes, they always have size. They usually got strengths of guys at skill places. So with them finishing 2 behind Meek, now they're going to move around in this region. I'm curious how that's going to work for them. Now, the team I'll highlight here is the Region 6 team, 1A. Wadley is what they are, and we can talk about Wilkes and what he's done. 4,000 yards rushing in 3 years as a junior. He started rushing as an eighth grader. He had 500 yards, 1,800 as a freshman. He had 100 tackles last year. He's a four-star player on 24/7. He's probably going to go to Auburn. They were undefeated at home, and they lost in the playoffs to Pickens County 18-14, who Coosa wound up beating up here at Coosa. We got to stand on the sideline up at that game with John Holder and Coach Short and Namath. They're going to open, Wadley is going to open with 3A Corner, and then October 11th, they're going to be at 3A Lee Scott Academy, who won AISA title going 13-0. Lee Scott Academy now is moving out of the private sector after they win it.
Back to 3A, right?
Yeah, now they're going to get back into the public arena. So that's kind of my take on that.
Tough. I mean, that's going to be tough.
So where Wilkes is going to be a junior, and he's got 4,000 yards rushing.
4,000 already.
He's got 2 years to play.
He's rushed for 1,700 yards 2 years. Now, Matt, Region 7, you were talking about it. I highlighted Meek. They went 6-5. They'll be tough. We just don't know a lot about those teams over there. But now, my second, I do agree with you. I think Wadley wins that region. I mean, they got one of the best players in the state, but I highlighted Winterboro. Winterboro has good athletes.
Yeah, they've been on the rise.
We saw Pickens County play last year. That's who put them out by 9 points in the second round last year. And Winterboro's got some more students coming in. Yeah. Now, will that be next year, or will they come in this year?
I don't know. That's a good. Do you know anything about Winterboro, JB? If they're getting those students this year or next 25 season?
I know they upset the number one. They were a 4 seed last year. They upset the number 1 seed out of one.
No, I didn't know that.
I can't remember. It was like, I know that they beat 3A Childersburg in the last game of the year, and that gave them a lot of momentum because Childersburg was in a pretty tough region, and that they ended up going like 4-6 or 5-5 and missing the playoffs. But because they're in the region with Dadeville and Randolph County, and Beulah had a pretty good team last year. So, but yeah, Winterboro is always tough. Always.
I think. Well, you got Woodland in there, Donahoe, Vincent, but I think Winterboro finishes in the top 2. I would say them and Wadley are your teams to beat in that region.
Okay.
I would agree. And as far as Wadley, I love watching Wadley. I'm a big fan of old school football, so them running that wishbone, I'm all over it. I'm all over it.
I'll mention this, and then JB, we'll let you go ahead. Lee Scott Academy, like I said, they're going to play in 3A Region 4, and they're going to be in that region with who you just mentioned, Dadeville and Randolph County. So look for Lee Scott Academy. They're going to be in that region. So when you see Lee Scott Academy, remember you watch Cheer Locker Room Sports and with JB.
They're going to be pretty good.
Just keep an eye on them. Okay. Lee Scott Academy, they're not going to be the team you're going to schedule for homecoming.
No.
Okay.
Just because a lot of people will think that because, they're AISA.
Now, what did you say? It was what now?
Oh, that's the final opponent on our regular season schedule is Lee Scott Academy. We go there. For that, I'm assuming that's going to be their senior night, so they'll be fired up for that game. So hopefully we can bring our A game.
That will be. Tell us about some 2A teams now. We get more into around your ballpark stuff. Some 2A teams at Reeltown, and you can talk about them, of course, and maybe some teams that they may match up with across region that you may have looking ahead. And remember, fans, we're just projecting. We're just old regular people making an educated guess, and we're not saying these teams are going to win it or go to state. No, and we're not saying that they're going to lose every game either.
We think I think most of us think the teams we've mentioned will go to the playoffs.
Yeah. So what's some 2A teams that you like around there in like regions 1 through 4 or whatever?
Well, starting in Region 3, you've obviously got Highland Home. They've got 2 very highly touted recruits, but their head coach left to take an assistant job at Goshen a few weeks ago. So you heard it here first. My bold prediction, Goshen wins Region 3 in 2A.
Wow.
Over Highland Home. That's my prediction.
Had this guy been their head coach a while?
He had been. He's taken them to – I know he took them to the semifinal 2022. B.B. Comer knocked us out in the 3rd round.
Well, there's no shame in that.
They matched up with Highland Home in the semifinals and absolutely destroyed them. And Highland Home was also in the semifinals in 2019 or 2020.
With this same coach.
Yes, sir. His name was Will Pouncey, I believe was his name. He's a really good coach, but I don't know why he left Highland Home to take a position that I think he was a graduate of Goshen. So
Okay.
that might I think don't quote me on that, but yeah, my bold prediction is Goshen takes that region.
And sometimes I'll add this just to knowing like something that happened up around in another county close to here. You see coaches leave head jobs and maybe take another head job somewhere or even assistant. Sometimes it can be because it's your home school, one, or two, like we know up around here close by, it was assumed that the principal may be leaving and he's going to get into admin. They'll take the head job and they'll coach for a year or two and they'll get in a head coach as they're coaching, get them a good assistant, and then they'll take an administration job.
Then he'll be the next head coach.
And I don't know if that's what's happening with Will or what. I'm just saying that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. That's odd, especially but I'm sure there's a good reason.
If he's getting close to he's like, I don't know if he's been in 20 years maybe or 15. Well, you retire with that principal salary. But Todd's both his parents were retired principals. That bumps your retirement pay up.
Exactly.
So that's why they do it. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm not entirely sure how long he's been in.
Okay.
But I do know he left. It's probably been about a month now. So he left really late in the year. So Highland Home promoted from within. I think they promoted either their offensive or defensive coordinator. But like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily a bold prediction because Goshen has actually been one of the tougher teams we played in the last couple of years. They went in halftime of 2022. They were actually leading us at halftime. So,
what's their style?
I didn't know Goshen was very good.
If people had never seen Goshen play and they show up down there on a Friday night to see y'all play them or whatever, what would people expect to see? Is it spread out all over the place, or they kind of in the box and run the ball?
They do a little bit of everything. They'll line up in a single wing and run it at you. They'll line up with two sniffer backs in the pistol and run it right at you. They'll spread it out. They've got a really good quarterback too. His name's Jaden McNabb. He's a pretty good quarterback. He's somebody to look out for in 2A this year, I believe. And they had a running back who was a really good track star. He graduated, but they've got some guys that they can step up and do it. I think they return a receiver that was like 6'4", 6'5" that they can just throw it up to as well. So
that's nice.
Yeah. And tell us about, and of course, tell us about Reeltown. I mean, that's the area over there. So you tell us kind of some of the teams that you think they may meet up with too. So now, and I know I've listened to some of your podcasts talking about Reeltown, and you have a good, like with us with Cedar Bluff or Cherokee County, Spring Garden, Gainesville, and San Roque, we have a kind of a good idea who they're going to start, who their start quarterback's going to be, and who's going to run the ball. And
we got it.
So kind of you can brag on your guys there, because I mean, not even knowing how many seniors you got coming, they're seniors this year. Well, you always assume Reeltown's going to be
they're usually pretty good.
They're going to be a deep playoff team.
Yeah.
So tell us more about them.
Well, to start out with the quarterback position, we have a guy who was a freshman last year who on the baseball diamond throws a 97-mile-per-hour fastball, I believe.
What?
Already being looked at by major during the spring game. He was standing at his own 12-yard line, had a guy wide open about 60 yards downfield, and still overthrew the guy. And the guy he was throwing to was not slow either. His name's John Travius Brown. He's pretty doggone fast. The ball hit at the opposite 30-yard line. So,
and what's the quarterback's name?
His name is Jamarcus Smith. We call him Vontae. So Vontae Smith, class of 2027.
Wow.
So it's a good chance he'll get drafted for baseball. Huh?
He's being looked at by Major League Scouts already.
I'd say so with that.
I mean, he's got a future probably in baseball, but he could have a future in football too. But to me, I would go the baseball route. More money and more longevity in that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But we got a running back who was also a freshman last year. Bench press is 300 pounds, and is not slow either. He's not just your typical power back. He's got speed too. And we got another guy, the brother of our leading rusher last year, Arthur Woods. His name's Elijah Woods. He's a sophomore this year. Is actually faster than Arthur was. We got our star player, Tay Martin, do-it-all guy, backup quarterback. He's going to play receiver. He played in the backfield last year. He won't do it as much this year as we're moving to more of a spread attack rather than the traditional eye and wishbone that we've been running in the past.
Was he one of the backs that ran it last year? I know Woods was your main one.
Yeah,
but like against Fife, and
Tay scored the first touchdown of the game against Fife for us. We had lined up in a double wing formation, ran him across on a jet sweep, and he took it I want to say 56 yards of the house or something like that.
So, see, I rushed for 4,000 or 5,000 yards last year. Did you not?
Yeah, Arthur
as a team.
Arthur rushed for I believe around 2,200 yards himself, and he did it the entire season not being 100%. So, I mean, against Tallahassee, the opening game of the year, that's the game that told me we were going to be for real.
Yeah, because they're big.
He had 7 carries for over 200 yards, and 5 of those carries went for touchdowns in that game. So that's when I knew because Tallahassee, they were big in the trenches, and the trenches were really their strength, and we pushed them around. So,
well, now y'all gained yards against Fife. I mean, the team had a lot of yards.
Yeah, they played them good. You just nobody, and no shame on the game.
Oh no,
because nobody's been able to hardly handle Logan Anderson. Logan, he's just different, man.
I think he's rushed for 5,600 yards in his career or something like that.
Yeah. He'll go over 7,000 in his career.
I remember hearing about that 8 touchdown game against I think it was Pisgah the first time they played. He scored 8 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, we was there.
Yeah,
we was at that game.
I think Logan got 5,600, 56 or 5,700 going into his senior year.
Yeah, Logan Anderson and Tucker Wilkes are 2 of the best players I've ever had the privilege to see play live.
Then when you talk to them, and Logan, I've chatted with a time or two. When he came in his freshman year, we went up there to cover. They had a jamboree game, and they played Marseille. Logan was just starting. I mean, nobody really seen. They knew he was Peyton's little brother. That's all anybody knew. Well, that first game, good gracious, man, he is laying the wood and a jamboree, and people were like, "Who?" Well, they know who his family is, but good Lord, man.
Yeah, he's missed some games.
I
watched that game live on the NFHS network.
He was just serious, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
Well, he's already
the middle of fight. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine.
That was right there in the middle of Fife's 45, or they went on a 51 game win streak. They were 4 games shy of tying the record for wins in a row.
I think it's right after COVID and stuff.
I saw something where, as of right now, he's played in 38 ball games, I think, and he's averaging about 150 a game for his career.
Yeah, Fife's just a machine. I've seen them play twice live, both of them against us in the state championship, and they're just a well-oiled machine. Like the fact that Geraldine was able to hold them to 6 points last year is a testament to how well coached Geraldine was.
Oh yeah,
Logan Brooks said he's got a cool name. Yeah, Logan Anderson.
Okay,
sounds like
got a cool first name.
Yeah, like I said, I've got nothing but good things to say about Fife. There, I've got obviously, you want to win that game.
Yeah,
but I mean, I've got nothing but good things to say about Fife.
Oh yeah. You can't. I don't think anybody's ever got on their team after a game and said, "How did we blow that against Fife?"
Well, I've been on the sideline with them at their home games, and when my son played against them at our home game, just being on the sidelines with them in games. And then ask my son after the game, do they talk a lot of trash or do they, and he said, nope, they don't say anything.
No, they
don't talk on the sidelines. They're not squirting water or throwing mouthpiece.
So they don't
locked in.
Tackle you and say, don't come back around here, boy. You'll get more of that.
Nope, they tackle you. They get up and they go back to the line.
Coach Benefield's very particular about that. He says, let your play on the field do the talking.
He's old school, and he's the kind of guy. he's the kind of guys that that we're losing. We're kind of losing that old style of football.
Mm-hmm.
We just are. So tell us about Reeltown. You talk about some offensive guys. Who's some defensive guys? Like who's leading tackle on the team that's going to be back this year that we need to keep eye on?
Well, we lost our 2 leading tacklers, which was our 2 inside linebackers, Jake Hornsby, who he was our starting quarterback, but great guy, great, like one of the best guys as far as leadership I've ever seen in my life on the football field. I mean, he never gave up. He never quit. And then we had Tyrese Fallon, who is a 5'6", 165-pound inside linebacker that would just light you up if you came down his lane. So, I mean, he committed to Birmingham Southern, which, of course, their program got shut down. Thankfully, he was able to find a new home. I believe at Columbus State. I want to say, don't quote me on that. I know we had Zach Riley, one of our senior defensive and offensive linemen last year. He committed there recently. He was a big guy. He was 5'10", 285 pounds. So he was pretty big. So, I mean, we're losing him, but as far like offensive and defensive line, like the trenches, we're returning pretty much everybody. And we've got some new guys that there's one guy, CJ Maddox. He was only a freshman last year. Man, that first game against Tallahassee, he was running over guys 3 times his size. I mean, he's just like he's going to be great. He's going to be a star at defensive end. They do say I've heard he can't catch as a tight end, but I mean defensively he's going to contribute, and hopefully he can block at tight end too, because tight end might be a position where tight end and maybe outside linebacker could be the positions where we have the least depth at. But I don't know, we still got some dogs there too.
Sure.
Defensively, our secondary shouldn't lose a step. Even losing Arthur Woods and Xavier Thomas, our secondary should still be really good. Our defense is going to be really good. We're still going to be good on defense. We had an inside linebacker transfer in from Fultondale.
Wow.
So
we watched him play.
That adds to our linebacker depth, and we had to add not only add to our offensive weapons, we had a receiver transfer in from Tallahassee who's a 6'2" sophomore. So
that helps.
The rich get richer.
As
far as that, but yeah, we and kicker. I don't know what we're gonna do as far as kicking. I know Gaines Tapley can kick the ball. He kicked the field goal to send us to state. So he's capable. He's very capable. Yeah. And then I went to Cottonwood, and I saw him kick the ball over the Cottonwood field house into the woods behind it. So on the extra
that's
point.
the one that hit the bar and went in, right?
Yes, sir.
BB Comer. Yeah,
that's the only field goal we've attempted since 2019. So,
what's the guy from BB Comer that went to Memphis? I forgot his name.
Oh, Kamari Harris.
Kamari Harris. Yes, yeah.
That guy. If you ask me,
wow.
I think he went to Memphis so he could play running back. He should have played linebacker. He's a better linebacker than he is a running back we thought he was fantastic linebacker.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I thought he looked like one of the coaches with just the T-shirt on. Good gracious, man! Yeah. I mean, golly.
He's like 6'2", 240 or something like that. Man. I mean, he's huge.
We watched him play Fife. I felt like they shot themselves in the foot a lot against Fife and could have possibly won that game.
Oh, absolutely!
He's really good.
You can't turn the ball over 5 times like against a team like Fife and expect to win.
No, they give them a short field a couple times too.
You can't give them because they're great. I mean, they're going to probably win, and then you're going to help them out. They don't need any help. They're good enough on their own.
You can't make any mistakes to beat them. Had they not made those, they could have.
Maybe close.
And that's what happened to us against Fife in 2019. But we let's see, Fife scored on their opening drive. We fumbled the following kickoff. Fife threw a touchdown pass. Then our quarterback got sacked and fumbled, and they returned it for a touch. So before you knew it, we were down 21-0. And if you go down 21, I don't care if you're Thompson High School. If you go down 21-0 against Fife, you're not coming back to win that game.
No, we've seen Catholic. me and my son, and I took one of his teammates. We went and watched them play Catholic that year in 2A state game and they were down, what was it, 16-0 at half? I texted you.
Yes.
and I
I
was
watched, and they come back.
And my son was with me, and he said, "What is going on?"
It was 16-0.
They just, and that was, the team was loaded. That was when Brody and Levi, that was, Ike and all them was on that team.
Ike Rowell, yeah.
They come back after halftime, and whatever he told them at the half, he said no more. And by God, that was it.
I think they beat them 21-16.
Yeah, they didn't.
I know exactly. I know exactly what he told them. It's in. I don't know if you've ever seen the Red Devil's Reign. It's a documentary on it's a documentary on YouTube about Fife. It kind of talks about that championship run where they won 3 in a row. Paul Benefield basically said, "Look, y'all ain't never quit before, and y'all ain't gonna start today."
Yeah, might as well. I mean, we're down here. Might as well play football. Look, y'all got helmets, you got cleats and pads, and look, there's a football field out here. So let's just go play football. I mean,
it looked bad for a little bit, but by halftime,
man,
you could tell that Fife was coming back.
I've never, ever picked against them, and in that game, I was thinking I have just never seen them. Nobody handle them like that. But I'm not making no excuses because Coach B would not stand for it. The reffing was not great because there was an interference call in the end zone in the first half, and they called it against Fife, an interference call. And I texted a buddy of mine up in the box, and he said that was a bad call. And then when they reviewed the kick, which give Catholic the ball back to score, that I blocked and took it to the house.
Yes.
That's not even a reviewable. But he was texting me this. Now, this person should remain nameless. He knows all the rules inside and out, and he was just saying that's not a reviewable play. I don't know why the refs. It's not. You should have went and said, "Coach, you can't review your own kick getting blocked."
Right.
But it turned out well.
They took that from them. They took that off the board.
Yes. Really. I mean, there's a lot of people thinking, I know people like Alabama, they're sick of them winning, but don't take it. I mean, if they're going to lose it, let them lose fair and square.
Yeah, I didn't like that call. I thought that was crap.
We'll move to some more 2A action around here. I'll just mention them. Let's see here. North Sand Mountain 2A Region 7 up here. I'm sure you've heard of them. North Sand Mountain has always been a prominent program. They've always just been right in there, but they've always been in the region with Collinsville and Fife.
Right.
And it's just that's a hard region for them to win. They're going to play week 2. They're going to play Sandrock, and week 3 they're going to have Cedar Bluff. They went 5-6 last year. And this 2A Region 7 with Fife, Pisgah, Collinsville. Well, now this new head coach Lipscomb is going to be there. He was a 13 graduate from Springville, so I got some new blood there, and I'm interested in seeing the Bison of North Sand Mountain, how this region's going to play without those big dogs anymore. Now they're in the region with Cedar Bluff again,
right?
And Sandrock, and we've talked about them. We interviewed all the players yesterday. Y'all can go find it on our YouTube channel, 2024 Media Day. So I'm curious about North Sand Mountain.
So I'll move on to that and talk about the same region. And I think it's a team to watch for. Like we said, we're not predicting them to win it, but I think Pleasant Valley's going to be good.
Yeah, see, we're hearing they got a lot of guys back, or maybe pretty good.
Quarterback and running backs, both of them back. They went 5-6 last year, but see, they've always been 3A.
Yes.
As far long as I can remember, they've been 3A, and now they're 2, and they've been used to playing Piedmont, Ohatchee, Oaks Bluff, teams of that nature. And now they're in there with Sandrock, Cedar Bluff, Pisgah, who lost a lot.
Yeah.
And North Sand Mountain. So I just think they're a team to watch for. And Mr. Jacobs,
Jim
runs FNN Network, said that he's heard some good things about Pleasant Valley.
So y'all, Pleasant Valley, can they come in and deny North Sand Mountain, who's kind of they've been in that region a long time, and you kind of just feel like it's their turn to win that region, right?
Right.
I mean, because Fife is just Fife. We've talked about Fife for 10 minutes. I don't want to talk about them more.
Yeah.
They know who they are. And Coach B, he don't probably like people talking about him anyway. He likes running low key.
Wow,
but people just know because he's lost 2 starters on this team for their 3A squad. They're bringing back everybody but 2, and they just won state. So we know they're going to be good. So some other team JB from 2A areas. Who's in Region 1? Then I can pull that up on the thing. I'm sure you know. Who's Region 1 in that 2A?
So it's
And I got one I want to ask you about in a minute, JB.
So it's Clark County, St. Luke's, Bayshore Christian, which is a brand new football program, but we'll be led by a Hall of Fame head coach in Phil Lazenby. You got Chickasaw, Washington County, Central Haneyville, who, by the way, I've been in contact with their head coach, so I'm going to bring him on for an interview pretty soon. And then I feel like there's a team I'm missing, maybe.
I should have brought that up before we got started, and we got started late. And I'll tell everybody why in about 10 seconds right here. I hit the live button, and for some reason, I don't know why. I've got to look into this. Twitter is not letting me go live. It says you have to have a platinum account to go live on Twitter, and I've never heard that because I can go on my phone and hit live from Twitter, and it'll let me go live. But for some reason, it won't through StreamYard. I don't know. So I was going to bring up this, the region map thing. Where we could all have a look at it, and I hit live and it don't go live. Then 5 minutes in the show, we're just rambling away, and somebody texts Dean and says, "Hey, you're not live." And I look at the button, I'm like, "Crap!" I hit live and I didn't know it denied me.
Yeah.
I know
JB's like, "I'm ready. What are you idiots waiting on?" I'm like, "Okay, well, Jay, we can come. We're on it." But anyway,
I know who I'm missing. I'm missing JU Blackshear.
I don't know about that.
That's the team I'm missing. They're in Uriah, Alabama. We played them second round of the playoffs in 2019. We were up 27-20, and our kicker hit a 42-yard field goal to put the game away pretty much. But they had a quarterback named something Rab, JD Rab, I believe it was his name. He was good. He was really good.
Okay.
There's a team I want to ask JB about right quick. It was one I highlighted and don't know nothing about them, but I think they're going to be pretty good. Isabella, do you know much about Isabella?
Oh yeah, they're in Maplesville as well. They've got some pretty good players. They've played BB. They've been in the region with BB Comer and Vincent the last couple of years, and they've played both of them really tough. So it's hard nosed football team.
Okay, but the only problem is they're in there with Tuscaloosa Academy, who's going to be very good, and Aliceville. And some of that.
Sologent, yeah.
Sologent too, yeah. That's
Vincent's in that region, so that's a really tough region.
Probably one of the tougher ones, isn't it? Region 5.
I would say so. I'd say that it is.
I got it right here. I'm going to pull it up on the screen, and everybody can kind of look at it there on the side. Regions 1 through 4. So you talked about, Region 2, Abbeville, Arrington, Cottonwood, Geneva County, GW Long, Houston County, Providence Christian, Sampson High. Then Region 3 is Barber County and Calhoun. You talked about Laverne, and he talked about Goshen and Highland Home in that region. Pike Liberal Arts. JB, what's the Pike Liberal Arts? I don't know much about them.
They were at AISA school, and they moved up to AHSAA back in 2022. And it was too late for them to get a region, so they actually were an independent pretty much. They've scheduled a bunch of big schools out of Florida and Georgia. And they played Montgomery Catholic in 2022 for homecoming for some reason. And they got shut out for homecoming. So they haven't been great the last couple of years, but I think they're going to be an improving program.
Region 2, I want to ask you about them. GW Long and some of them, I just personally know them. Cedar Bluff, the volleyball team, they're really good. I hear a lot about their volleyball. Their girls programs are really good. But this Arrington, Ariton, I remember seeing them last year, and some of the sports guys down south,
some good teams
coming across. Are they? I wonder if they're bringing back some guys there. At Arrington, I don't know.
I don't know a whole lot about Ayrton. I know they got smoked by Highland Home in the first round last year, but I don't know who they're bringing back or anything. Cottonwood is the team I can tell you about.
What about
they
Cottonwood?
were a very young team. They run an offense, I'd say, kind of similar to Fife. They're huge up front. They can spread it out, but they do a lot of single wing type stuff and run the quarterback a lot. And we were up on I want to say it was like 22-14 or 22-16 at halftime. We ended up beating them 41-22, but It was not an easy game. They were running the quarterback outside and picking up 5 and 6 yards at a pop, and that's very rare to be able to do on us. So, but they were a young team, and they got a fantastic coach in Dustin Harrison, who Wiregrass Sports Picks, I think is what it's called. They're a Facebook page. They asked for a Coach of the Year candidate, and that's who I gave them, because their only loss was to 5A Headland, who was in the quarterfinals of the 5A playoffs last year. They lost to Gulf Shores, which nothing to be ashamed about.
Gulf Shores.
Now we're talking about Cottonwood, everybody.
Gulf Shores won it, did they not?
Yeah.
But Gulf Shores was 5A state champion. They beat Ramsey, which easy task.
Where did Royal end up going? Was it North Carolina State? Ronnie Royal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. He might play immediately there. I can't imagine him not being pretty good.
I mean, even some type of athletic skill position, or we watched him play up here at Alexandria before he moved, and special talent.
Yeah, he had some ridiculous. I mean, they had 10,000 yards.
Kick return touchdowns. How many was some?
8, was it 7 in his careers?
A lot.
Maybe 14 punts and kicks.
Right there in Region 2, you've also got Providence Christian. They're moving down from 3A to 2A. They were
tough.
They were a 3A playoff team last year. They lost first round against Trinity, which again, nothing to be ashamed of. Trinity's a very good football program, but they're moving down from they run. I want to say they run the exact same offense Fife does. So they don't run it quite as well as Fife does, but they're still a really good team. They were a semifinal team back in 2019. I remember because they beat the mess out of St. James in the second round of the playoffs that year. So I mean, look for them to possibly make a run as well.
Providence Christian.
Yeah, I've heard good things about them over the last few years. I think them. I mean, in 2A, I would think they'll be tough. Coosa Christian, of course, and you say Goshen, and y'all will be good again.
Yeah, Reeltown. So
yeah. If I had to, I know I believe we match up with Region 3 first round. So
yeah,
look for a potential either like Highland Home or Goshen as a potential quarterfinal matchup. God willing, we get there. God willing, we get there. I'm not going to give anybody bulletin board material, but
he said it. They're winning.
Winning it all.
God willing, because I'm not going. I'm definitely not giving Coach Mark O'Brien any bulletin board material, because he told me about his team, and they've got a lot of speed too. So
yeah, they bring back a lot of their team. Coosa's going to have a lot of guys come back.
Coosa's going to be very good.
Yeah, they'll be good in that region. We'll go to we'll roll down here to 3A now. I'll put them up on the old skinny board here. 3A regions. Let's see here. I'll put up there. Okay, regions 5 through 8. But first, I'll go to. I don't know why I've done that. I still got a 2A team on here. Sorry about that, watchers.
You got another 2A team you want to talk about?
Yeah, 2A. Region 6, Southeastern 7-4. They went 5-1 that region. Now they only had one home loss, which was to Pennington, 42-12. Now they're going to line up and be in this region with Coosa and Locust Fort, which is a team to look out for.
Yeah,
they were 6-0 last year. They lost to 5 in the playoffs. They're now 3A Region 6.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about them in just a minute. They're going to open with Oneonta in their region. They're going to be in the region with Piedmont and those teams. But Southeastern is a team that I've seen play some.
Yeah.
They went to state semis one time.
Well, they always have a pretty good quarterback. They can always throw the ball very well. I'll highlight them on the screen. Talking about Southeastern here. And they just always have some good athletes.
Yeah.
And I watched them play Sandrock a time or two, and I mean, they took them down the wire that last year, maybe in Ace's junior year. I think it was Ace Ashley's junior year up here at Sandrock.
Yeah, when they were in that same region.
Yeah, and it was just a good game. I think they went down there maybe and played them down there the next year, but they're always a good program. and they've always been in a tough region.
Always.
So I'm curious about Southeastern, and
they've had some bad luck because the best team Cleveland's ever had in the history of the school was, they're right there by them, and they're right. I think Southeastern gets a lot of kids from Montana probably too.
Yeah.
And
well, speaking of Cleveland, their head coach is Will Glaze. He was actually my 8th grade history teacher at Tallahassee.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
You
I
got
know
any other
Coach.
2A?
I've got one more 2A.
Yeah.
I just want to throw out there to watch out for be Lexington.
Yeah, I'm
They
curious about them.
They went 7-5 last year. They lost to 5, 57-24. Now I know you're going, well, what are you highlighting them? They got killed, but 57. They put 24 on 5 in the second round.
Yep.
I guess they're third string. I mean,
They got a lot of.
I'm sorry. I mean,
They got a lot of people back.
okay,
Oh yeah.
But they got to contend with Red Bay and Decatur Heritage.
which are prominently playoff teams. Red Bay
Red
has
Bay's
been to
just
playoffs,
good.
so I mean, every year they're second round team nearly.
Now Red Bay's never won one, as
No.
far as I know, but they've
It's been a
I don't
while.
think so.
been in the 3rd and 4th round.
The kicker,
Yeah, it's funny y'all mentioned a lot of these
Mhm.
North teams.
What's the difference there?
Yeah,
Well,
believe it
I
or not, we used. Oh my bad.
I was just going to say, when he's talking about Red Bay, I know Tiffin Motorhome sponsored them because Cedar Bluff went up there and we played them in the playoffs one year, my son's junior year. And it was
He might
a
have
kicker
played
from
there.
Bama. Yeah.
There used to be a Van Tiffin that played there. It was great.
Yes. That's the one that kicked at Bama.
Probably.
Well, his daddy owns a
could
motorhome.
be.
They're a
Could be.
big, I just know they're a big sponsor for Red Bay. Like you see it everywhere, like Tiffin Motorhomes. And when they do their little show, Saturday morning show,
Mhm.
they sponsor so I'm sure it's the same kid that played it.
I would think.
So,
I
but
would think.
anyway, Lexington, yeah,
I'm anxious to see.
they're kind of like Southeastern in that other region. Like, man, they're just always right in there.
Mhm.
When are they going to have that breakthrough? And last, I'll do this Region 5 team,
Oh, I got one more.
Aliceville. Yeah, Aliceville High School, Region 5. They went 4-2 in the region. They did lose to Lexington. So. Where are they going to be at? But the dog of everybody has talked about last year, JB, and I'm sure you heard this too. This team right here, Tuscaloosa Academy, is supposedly they're going to be really good this year. They went 5-1 in Region 10 and 3 overall. They're going to open with 4A Region 4 American Christian Academy, which American Christian Academy lost in the playoffs last year to Booker T 22-12. So that's who they're going to open with.
Yeah.
This Tuscaloosa Academy is supposed to be really good.
I wouldn't be shocked if they're the favorite.
Yeah.
For 2A. I wouldn't be. I mean, they may be.
Can they? Okay, for them to win the North, and we could go through some of these teams that we've talked about. So Tuscaloosa Academy is one, and you go to Region 6, who they'll cross with. You'd have to talk about Coosa probably for that region.
Coosa's going to be good.
Susan Moore.
Susan Moore, that's the other team I highlighted. 6-5.
Yeah, talk about Susan Moore.
6-5, got a lot of players coming back. Susan Moore has had some good teams over the years, but their main obstacle is going to be Coosa Christian and Southeastern. But they're in there with also Cold Springs, Faulkville, West End, Cleveland. I think Susan Moore is going to get. I think they're fighting for that 3rd or 4th at least, at worst, and
That's Region 6.
That's
guys.
Region 6.
Yep.
I'll just go on paper. I don't care, if anybody doesn't like it. I think Coosa Christian will win that region.
Okay.
So Susan Moore could make a battle for that 2nd, but I know Southeastern's got a good team. But Susan Moore returns a lot. They went 6-5 last year.
Yeah,
Got put out in the 1st round.
You may have a lineup with
Now, Susan Moore's been to the semifinals before.
Tuscaloosa and Coosa for 5-6 region. Now, I don't know how. Yeah, of course, they both are one. They won't play each other because the one from Tuscaloosa would play the 4 and Coosa would play the 4 from Region 5. But people would kind of know that. So that's kind of 2A. Any of those teams you want to bring up, JB, from up here that you know about, or I mean, you coach Coach O'Brien, or from that region, you know any more about them, or?
Well, I'd like to talk about Decatur Heritage Christian. That they're moving up from 1A. They were in the same region as Coosa Christian last year.
Yeah.
And they're coached by I think they're coached by a former Alabama,
They are,
University of Alabama player, and
but I can't think of his name.
I can't
Nikita
either.
Stover.
Yeah, Stover. Yeah. He. I think they're going to be a pretty good team. I think it's going to be between them and Lexington for that number 1 and 2 seed in that region. But I just want to say whoever gets out of 2A North is going to be absolutely battle tested because 2A North is going to be tough.
Okay, 2A North. Yeah, and those other, like Pisgah, took care of that last year over there they, of course, 5 had been winning that region forever. So, a lot of people feel like it may be their turn, like North Sand Mountain. I talked about them. Maybe it's their turn, to finally be able to, get past that Pisgah 5 Collinsville hump with those teams moving up to 3A. So, that'd be good. So Decatur Heritage team, Lexington, Red Bay, I'm sure. Would probably be good matchups for North Sand Mountain, Pisgah. Sandrock. We have them up here now. Coach Heath brings back a lot of guys. Nearly just about the whole team. Nearly. I mean, his quarterback started as a freshman last year.
Wow.
Alec Ashley, his older brother Ace was a quarterback up there for some time. Great people, and Todd knows we know his dad and everybody, and his dad's a really good coach too. So those are some good matchups. Some good information that we got going on there. We can go to. I'll back out of here and do this again. We'll go to 3A, and we'll do 3A South, and then we'll do a little bit of 4A, and then maybe anybody's biggest team maybe look for in the state or others, because we just don't, no offense to anybody that's watching, we don't have, besides Fort Payne or Southside or Gadsden City, we don't have no really 5 or 6 7A teams up here around in this area. So we just kind of do 1 through 4. So 3A South regions 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm way more familiar with most of these 3A South teams, JB, and you can start wherever you want to. Somebody that you like or it has some good chances to make it, or a team you're curious about.
Well, I got to start with the team that I picked to come out of 3A South to go to the state championship game, and I picked T.R. Miller to come out of 3A South this year.
Wow,
that's Region 1.
Coached by Brent Hubbard. They're going to be battle tested. They've scheduled a tough out of region schedule, and that region's not easy. Hillcrest Evergreen is going to be a lot better this year. They've got a pretty good quarterback. I don't know his name, but I know they've
won one, hadn't they?
They beat Randolph County, I want to say, back in 2017 for it in 3A.
Me and Matt went to that Randolph County Piedmont game in the semifinals. One of the best games we've ever been to in our life.
Yeah.
We nearly left.
But Dean was wanting to leave. He'll leave on you. If something gets out, let's get out of here. So let's just see what happens open kickoff. They take the darn thing to the house.
It was great.
They got back in the game like, holy crap.
It was great. That was 35-28, I think.
Good game.
Yeah, I had to go back and watch that one. I had to go back and watch that because they were talking about it. It was Average Joe Sports Talk was interviewing Steve Smith, and he brought it up.
Yeah.
And I got curious, so I went back and watched the game, and that was a great football game.
Good game.
He just I saw him in the Walmart a few days after that, and I know we're getting off track here, but he just kind of shook his head and said, what are you going to do? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, man. Put it all out there, and sometimes, and of course, Coach Smith knows this. He's Hall of Fame. Sometimes you just get lucky.
Yeah,
I mean, if he would tell you, him or Coach B or Danny Horn. I mean, the greats will say, "Well, you're going to get lucky." So, I mean, sometimes some teams, and I don't mean any knock against Randolph County, but I mean their coach ain't crazy. They know. I mean, sometimes you just have a lucky break that something goes your way. When teams are that closely matched, you need somebody to. Alabama-Tennessee game. They blocked 2 field goals in that game. Right. Who has ever blocked 2 field goals in a stinking football game? I don't know any.
Well, they got back in it, but they ran a little out or something. The boy caught a ball, and these 2 guys come to tackle him, and they just missed him. I don't know what happened. He went 70. He didn't even and it changed the whole game. I think they end up throwing a halfback pass for a touchdown. It was just crazy.
So T.R. Miller, Region 1. Region 2, is Alabama, is Alabama Christian Academy, are they down from 4 to 3? They got to be.
No, they were 3A last. They were in the region with St. James and Trinity last year.
That's a tough region.
Have they ever been 4A?
They have.
Okay.
I thought they were.
Okay.
Them and Mobile.
Okay.
They were 4A. They went to the quarterfinals in 2020, lost to American Christian in a battle of the ACAs.
Yeah,
So, they had a quarterback, Jalen Clark, who was really good. He's at UL Lafayette now. As
Did you get to play?
A defensive back, he was a good quarterback though. But I'm gonna kind of go region by region, you know. In region 2, everybody's gonna talk about Trinity and Houston Academy as the two teams. I'm going to say Montgomery Academy is a sleeper team. The last time they were in 3A, they went to the semifinals both years. The 2020, they lost to Montgomery Catholic in the semifinals in a rematch. They had beat Catholic early in the year. The next year, they upset Montgomery Catholic in the semifinals 10-7 after and went to the state championship after they lost 42-0 to Catholic earlier in the year. And they kicked a 37-yard field goal to beat, and they were running a wing T offense under Coach Robert Johnson. They have a coach, Ethan McBride, now. They run more of a spread now, but I'm just saying the last time they were in 3A, they had a lot of success. So look out for them. Look out for them. They're a sleeper. Region 3, it's between Thomasville and Southside Selma as the top dog in that region. But I'm going to say
Thomasville has state championships too.
Yeah, they won it in 2010. They beat Deschler 59-34 or something like that. Yeah,
yes. I would think I went to that game.
Yeah, they run that wing T just like I just mentioned. Montgomery Academy, they're a wing T team and they run it very well. Southside Selma, they've got, of course, Derek Smith, a 4-star athlete committed to the University of Alabama, and his brother Eric Smith. That they're both 6'4" plus. I mean, all you got to do is just throw it up to him. Derek Smith turns a 50-50 ball into a 95-5 ball. I mean, I don't know of a time he never came down with the ball on a 50-50 ball. I
don't know much of a lot of those teams in Region 3.
No.
Wilcox Central, Thorsby, Sumter Central, Southside High School, not Southside Gadsden, Southside Selma, Hale County, Greensboro, and Dallas County.
Now, we saw Thorsby, haven't we?
Yeah,
when they had Coosa Christian one time.
Yeah, we did a jamboree.
Thorsby's
the team that Thorsby's the kind of sleeper team that I want to talk about in that region because they've got a fantastic quarterback, Grayson McManus. I'm going to have him on and interview him at some point in the future. He followed me on Twitter. I think I was retweeting some of his huddle film, and he ended up following me on Twitter. So I'd say Thorsby's a team. Reeltown's played them the last couple of years in the 2A playoffs. They're moving up to 3A, but I mean it's a fairly favorable region where I think they can get that number 3 seed and possibly compete for the 2 seed in that region. Then Region 4, I mean Randolph County's probably the team to beat in that region in my opinion. I'm going to talk a little bit about Childersburg. Childersburg is going into, I believe, either year 4 or year 5 under head coach Johnny Johnson, and they have yet to get over that hump. I think this year could be the year they get over that hump, and I'm rooting for them because Coach Johnny Johnson seems like a really good guy, and I'm kind of rooting for them to get over that hump and get to the playoffs this year.
Me and Matt played for them. I meant to tell you that, Matt. Bullen's their offensive coordinator.
Who?
Jeff Bullen.
Well, I thought he retired.
No, he got back in it.
Oh,
he's 61 years old. Me and Matt played for him.
Right. Where's he at?
He's at Childersburg.
He
used to be the head coach at Childersburg.
I knew that.
Yeah. So Childersburg, they kind of run
well, there no Jeff.
Another team that runs a similar offense.
What does he do? Calling offense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what they run now, but in the years past, they've run a similar offense to Fife.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So
Coach Bullen will definitely Childersburg. I promise you, they'll be they'll run the football. And
He
they'll
might try to throw it around a
a
little,
little
bit.
bit because it's just a little. He'll change to be practical for his 2024. But he's going to have a good offensive line. His center's going to be smart, and they're going to run the football. I promise that. Yeah. With Coach Bull. And tell me about BB Comer. I know we talked about Harris, graduating and stuff. What's their, are they, where's their mark at in this region for? Do they just disappear now or,
No, they're losing Kamori Harris and their quarterback Devin Harvey, who are both fantastic players. And I'm sure Coach Fawcett would tell you it's hard to replace those guys, but
oh God, yeah.
they're still going to be big in the trenches. They're still going to have a fantastic run. I think his name's Tristan Garrett. He's pretty good. And then their quarterback is probably going to be, I think it might be Raylon Sims. He played receiver. He was the guy that made he made that long touchdown catch against Fife in the state championship, number 8. I think he might. I think it's either going to be him or Richard Weed. I can't remember which one. I think it's Raylon because Richard Weed's is like 5'6" or 5'7". So I would assume it's probably going to be Raylon that's the quarterback. I actually, he followed me on Twitter. I hit him up about doing an interview in the future, so look out for that. But yeah, I mean, BB Comer's still going to be a really good football team. They're going to compete for that number 1 or number 2 seed. I mean, I think it's probably going to come down. I mean, that region's pretty loaded because Glenwood School, another school that's moving up from AISA, they played Lee Scott in the AISA championship game last year. Mm-hmm. Lee Scott returns a lot of guys, and they're still really good. Randolph County's always going to be good.
Oh yeah,
Dayville. I don't know what to expect out of Dayville. They have a brand new head coach, but that's a big time rival of Reeltown. If anybody doesn't know, that's probably our biggest rival at this point. You would think it was Tallahassee, the school that's 10 miles away from us, but we've actually only met 20 times on the gridiron in our school's history. So
it kind of looks interesting here. I'm kind of highlighting the teams that you're talking about, and then I kind of red highlight the teams that just opinion, and we don't know. I mean, it's really early, but it kind of looks to me, I mean, it just, in highlighting, going through these, and you can probably see these on the screen too, JB, as I'm highlighting some of this stuff. It looks like Region 2 and 4 have a lot of good. They're really good regions. There's a lot of depth in those regions, and then it seems like regions 1 and 3, may be kind of a two horse show sort of. I mean, 2 or 3 teams, or 2 and 4 may have a lot of teams.
With Region 1, like I said, Hillcrest Evergreen is a sleeper team to me.
Okay.
Flomaton, Walter Welborn was the number 1 seed out of Region 4 last year, actually.
Yeah.
Flomaton went to Welborn and beat them, I think shut them out 34-0. So they're kind of a wing T team, I believe. Flomaton is.
They've won 1 too.
Bayside had their starting quarterback transferred to Viger. So that's why I kind of didn't mention them, but they are coached by former Auburn quarterback Barrett Trotter. So, and they have a really good tight end named Miles Uter. I think he's either committed to Alabama or they're recruiting him. So I mean, Bayside. I mean, they were coached by a former college quarterback. So I would think that the quarterback development would be there. So, that's
pretty good. If anybody watching don't have if you had no clue about what's going on in the South, and you're watching, there's no way you could leave this show not having any clue what's going on.
No, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you have an idea, and again, I've said this 3 times, we're just sports guys. We love the kids at the high school level, and we just want to give them attention. And obviously he studies this area. He knows the kids. He knows, and these are just good educated guesses. And hey, we're wrong a lot of times, and but in general, I always want to say this up front: we're for kids. Period. Mm-hmm. This is why kind of the reason we started doing this. Just in general, we're for any kid from anywhere. We, if they can get them some exposure and mentioning names on here, hey, that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Those are just good guesses. So man, those are great breakdowns for the South, and I'll go over here to the north part of 3A, and
You can do all yours, and then I'll do all mine. You wanna
I
do it
got
like
a few here. I'll start with these, and I know you know these teams, JB. Sylvania, they've been around forever, and even being 3A, 5 being 2, it's just a rival. Okay, that game kind of goes back for years and years. You actually have the Anderson family brothers, their kids. Logan's cousin was tailback at Sylvania.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So the family history and stuff, and it goes back up there. So on August 23rd, Sylvania will play North Jackson. Tomorrow morning, North Sylvania will actually be up here at Cherokee County for us, camp, and I'm going to do some stuff. I'm going to be over there tomorrow, so you can look for that. And on the October the 4th, they will play 5th. The 11th, they have Collinsville. Then they have Pisgah on the 1st. Pisgah, of course, 7-0 in that region. So Sylvania under new head coach.
Mm-hmm. And probably lost a few, didn't they? I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they were good.
Yeah, I'm going to look tomorrow and see kind of how they're going to let, because I'm pretty sure, I think I seen the Anderson boy on senior night. Maybe him and Logan had a picture together. Them being
the one that run the kickoff
yes.
back. Yeah.
And that's Logan's dad's brother. That's his boy.
Right.
And they,
that's where they play.
Yeah. So,
so
I'm interested in Sylvania this year, new coach. But man, they're a mountain team. They're tough, and I'm kind of curious to see how they come out. They're a pretty big school, and they have a nice field up there, and the fans are super proud of their team up there, the Rams. We played them in Pee Wee football many times, and they are always good. So
do they come out? The fans support them.
Absolutely. Pee Wee to high school.
We've been places where there weren't any fans, and the team wasn't even that bad.
You can't even get in the stands, and then their visitor. The end zone on the other opposite end of the scoreboard. They have a long place that goes to the concession stand, and it was just full. But I was at Geraldine, Sylvania, which is a big game, so it was it was crazy packed. So, JB, I'm curious about Sylvania, that Region 8 there.
Well, if you want to know how tough Sand Mountain football is, all you got to do is ask Madison Academy, because I think they played 3 Sand Mountain teams in the playoffs last year, and they really had to earn their way to the state championship game. So, of course, Mobile Christian. The game kind of got away from them against Mobile Christian, but you can't say they weren't battle tested getting through there. But yeah, Sylvania. I'm curious as well, because I know Coach Tyler Van was an excellent coach.
Yeah.
He's at Scottsboro. Look out for them in a few years.
Yeah.
Maybe even this year, because I know their region Arab Coach Lee Osment resigned. I don't want to get into reasons why, but it's not a good situation. So Arab
Cherokee County picked them up on their schedule this year.
They did.
They play Arab, and they're a big school, and that's what coaches are. When you play out of region games, something you're not looking to win. I know you want to win, the kids want to win, but they want to play big competition. You want to get ready for playoffs. So, who else, Dean, in 3A, Dean, do you like for maybe Region 8 or something?
Well, I got Collinsville.
Okay. Ernie.
Now, I'll just go on and say it, and I don't think nobody's going to get on here and cuss me out. I got 5 winning that region.
Come on, Palmer. Taking up for Paul.
I 100% think Collinsville can get this second spot, for one, because Sylvania lost a lot and Geraldine lost a lot.
Yeah.
And Collinsville's got everybody back. They're running back. We call him Milk.
Yeah.
What is Milk's real name? Quintavious Rogers.
Yes, Quintavious
Rogers.
Yeah.
Mason McAteer's thrown for 3,000 yards in 2 years.
That's the coach's grandson.
Willingham.
Played as an 8th grader, started as an 8th grader.
Oh, wow.
And they've got a top-notch receiver out there. His name's Gavin Lane.
Yep.
He's good.
He is good.
He's very good. He can run the ball too. They'll run him on reverses, and he's just gone.
They got good athletes.
Yeah,
I think they get that second spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I just haven't heard a lot about Collinsville the last couple of years, because all I hear about is Fife and Pisgah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard. Collinsville's been kind of flying under the radar, as has North Sand and Sand Rock.
Yeah.
Sand Rock will be better.
It's because Fife just gobbles up all that. They beat all them teams and they win the region. So the teams that they kind of get pushed to the wayside, sort of, that they don't get as much talk.
So I think
that's true.
I think you better watch out for Collinsville. I think they can definitely be the runner-up.
I'll
yeah.
give you a Region 7 here team that I was curious about. Rogers here, high school. Rogers, they're in Florence. It's in Florence, Alabama. They come down from 4A Region 7 for 2023. Now, they lost to West Morgan last year, 51-0. They went, which, go 4-6, but coming down.
You got to watch them teams coming down.
I know. So that's kind of why I picked them. So in this Region 7, they're going to be in there with Clement, Colbert County, Colbert Heights, Elkmont, Lauderdale County is always talked about. And, of course, there's never any shame of you got to mention Mars Hill and then Sheffield.
Yeah, Sheffield's got a good program.
I don't know how many. I almost did Sheffield. I'm kind of curious about how many they bring back, but I have no way or connections to find out how many Sheffield is bringing back. So with that being said, Mars Hill, just because of who they are and coach up there. I mean, the guy used to ride bulls for a living. He boxed Butterbean as an exhibitionist. I mean, he's just it's a great story.
Butterbean, really?
Yeah.
Higgins did?
Yes. And so they'll probably be favored. It's just media people, rat poison, like Coach Saban. Everybody says rat poison. Don't listen to that crap. We're nobody. We ain't won nothing yet, which is right. So Rogers was a team that I was curious about. And then Region 6, I'll mention them. Walter Welborn, now their tailback he did move on. The Williams kid, he went somewhere else to play.
Just transferred?
Yeah. So, but I still have to keep them on the list. Region 6 there, they went 7-4 last year, 3 Region 4 last year. They won the region, went 6-0. They lost to Anniston, Ohatchee, Cleburne County, and Farmington. But those are all good teams that are losses. So, other teams in that region is like Weaver, Coach Smith, Westbrook Christian, Ohatchee, Locust Fort, which is going to be really good. JB Pennington,
Piedmont,
and Glencoe. Yep.
Is Piedmont in there and Ohatchee?
Yeah.
So you said that you heard Ohatchee was going.
Oh, well, I seen Ohatchee at a camp down here at Rainbow City that Mr. Mintz put on.
Yeah, you said good. They look good.
They look good.
And while we're talking about Region 6, I've got Westbrook.
Yeah,
and
Coach Smith.
Yeah.
Their leaders are gone. Their stat leaders from last year, but they've got the X factor, and that would be Coach Smith, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Yep. And I don't want to get too sad here, but I have to mention it. Well, I put out a thing about it yesterday. Coach Blanchard,
a
huge part of what Steve done, and I couldn't imagine how Tara and Bailey and Miss Blanchard James fought a good fight, and he had been through this before. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not just saying this. James Blanchard's one of the toughest guys I know. Listen, I worked with him before he started coaching football, before the kids were born. And just want to say I feel for the family, and he'll definitely be missed. And just pray for the community, Westbrook, Piedmont, and his family, and everybody involved. And I had to mention it because we're talking about Westbrook.
Yeah,
and
great defensive coordinator on all 5 championships.
Yeah, man, a huge mind for the game, and just teaching boys to be men and to hold them accountable, and talking about leading kids to Christ. And James had been saved and talked about that. And me and him talked for an hour over here at Cherokee County game one day. Yeah. Just shooting the breeze. So I'm glad I got to see him there, and I'd bump into him some, but he had gotten really sick. And unfortunately we live in a place where our flesh it's going to go away. But our spirit lives forever, and James Blanchard will not be forgotten. I promise you that. He will not. He left a great mark on young youth around here and all over. So,
but now he'll be missed as far as that program too.
Man. Yeah,
I mean, great defensive coordinator.
Yeah. How do you replace a guy that's got
5 rings? Got more rings than Kay's Jeweler down here.
Darn, man. What do you do with that?
Kay Jewelers. It's not Kay's. Kay.
So you like Westbrook, and Steve's gonna. I gotta stop saying Steve. Coach Smith is gonna have athletes.
I think they will. I think they're gonna be. I think they're the team to watch in that. Obviously,
curious.
Ohatchee and Locust Fort. We already know about them, but Piedmont. But I think you better watch out for Westbrook.
Yeah, Locust Fort also had over here in Region 5. Oatman High School. I want to just take a little look at them. They went 7-4. It's 4-2 in that region. They finished second though behind Winfield, which is who I was going to talk about. They went 5-1. They were 6-0. Winfield was away in away games. Now Sylvania won in the playoffs 35-10, and then Fayette and Marion County are going to be in that area with them.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, Gordo went 6-0 in their region. They'll open at home versus that Fayette County team. The Gordo and Oakman are some teams to kick around there for Region 5.
We messed up. I did the same one he did. I think Winfield's got a good shot.
Yeah, I'm curious.
At going deep.
Well, I mean, if you're 6-0 on the road, you're road warriors, man. That's tough to
and
go
you got
on the road.
you got most of your team back.
That's a good problem to have, JB.
Yeah,
You went 10-2, but now Gordo's definitely a stumbling block.
Yeah, absolutely. That Region 5, 3A. But this Region 6 has always been talked about, even from people from larger classifications. So, 3A Region 6 is one of the toughest regions in the state, always because these Piedmont and Ohatchee and Locust Fort now. Walter Welver's always kicking around there. And
they've had some really good teams. Ohatchee, you mentioned them.
Yeah.
Well,
and they're going to look good. Their quarterback, and they have some little kid, I don't need to say kid, young man. I think they called him Tay at Ohatchee. And if anybody on here knows him or I'll tag him in it or something, I'll put a shout out for him. Good gracious, man. He can dodge, he can get in the shower and get out dry.
Water.
Dude, I'm telling you, he could stop and run. I know it's 7-on-7. You can't get too hyped on 7-on-7 camps, but this young man and then the quarterback too. Good gracious, man. They're going to have Ohatchee's not going to have. They don't look. They're going to have a lot of problems. Most time, if you see a team look that pretty good in the 7-on-7 camps, but that region, God, is tough.
They've had some excellent teams.
Tough region.
Excellent team.
4A regions 1 through 4. Gosh, man, we know about these regions too because we wind up covering them, especially like Region 1 and stuff. Escambia, and of course the talk of the town. And JB already knows who I'm fixing to say here. 4A Region 1. Jackson, they're going to be talked about. You got Duckworth at QB, and
I'll see back.
And Zeke, he run the ball again. He was a freshman last year.
I got to put that down. Duckworth.
Yeah, he's got offers from. I know Oregon's offered him, so I know that for sure. Mobile Christian in that region also. Orange Beach is in that region too, Dean. So Jackson, Mobile Christian, Orange Beach in the same region.
You don't want to play in that region.
Yeah.
Duckworth.
And if you think it's that loaded, T.R. Miller was only a few students away from being a 4A school. So you would be able to add T.R. Miller in there if they were 4A.
Well, this is why you think T.R. Miller has a good chance to go to the state championship in 3A, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fact they returned their quarterback, who I believe has been starting
Commander.
since the freshman, Nathan Commander. They got
Commander.
their running back, Miles Johnson's really good. He's a good linebacker, too. So they're always big and physical in the trenches. I mean, T.R. Miller just seems like and 3A South, I named some teams, but to be honest, I don't know if there's anybody on T.R. Miller's level other than maybe Trinity, but Trinity is, I think they're losing their quarterback and receiver brothers in the McClinton. So, but they're coached by Brian Seymour, who's an excellent coach, came from Demopolis. So T.R. Miller and Trinity are the two, and then Southside Selma I would say are maybe the top 3, and then you got to mention Houston Academy. So those 4 are probably the 4 I'd say are that might be your 4 semifinal teams, to be honest.
Who in the Region 1 there? 4A, we're talking about 4A Region 1, Jackson, Mobile Christian, Orange Beach. Is those 3 are just? I mean, you might as well just flip a coin. I mean, who is that? Probably going to be 1, 2, 3, and then Escambia. I don't know. I mean,
well, if I had to pick, I'd say I'd pick Jackson to be the 1 seed. Mobile Christian would be my number 1 seed if Coach Cottrell had not moved on to the college ranks. And then so Mobile Christian's still my 2 seed though. They're still loaded. Kentonio Kelly at linebacker is. Oh my goodness, that dude's a freaking beast.
Where's he play at? Mobile
Christian. St. Michael Catholic. They were the number 4 or 3 seed out of that region. They're coached by Phillip Rivers. His son Gunnar Rivers is one of the top players in the state.
We're not talking about the Phillip Rivers that played for San Diego, right?
We were talking about that Phillip Rivers. Yeah. He's the head coach there at St. Michael. His son's the starting quarterback. They've got a receiver named Brody Jones who's absolutely outstanding too.
Where is this at?
It's in
Same out
Fairhope, Alabama.
Okay.
down there close to the beach, sort of, kind of.
Yeah. So
Phillip Rivers.
if I had to
Wow.
guess, they'd be
played
my
down
number 3 seed, and then I'd
Where'd he
say
play
it's
at?
between
I think he's from
WS Neal,
Athens.
Orange Beach, and
Or
Escambia for
Decatur.
that number 4 seed. Orange Beach hired Wade Waldrop, who was the head coach at Hoover the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
Orange Beach
that.
could be they could be pretty good. I don't think Wade Waldrop's a bad coach. I just think Hoover has happened to be in an absolutely loaded region the last couple of years.
Yeah, I like the way they. Well, nah, I ain't gonna say. I just thought that. I mean, they got rid of him like he didn't do nothing, like he didn't do a good job.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, be for real.
They went 5-7 last year. They shut out James Clemens first round, but they gave Thompson all they wanted, and that defense, they had a really good defense. Their offense kind of found their stride when they found their quarterback later in the year. So I think if he was there this year, they'd be competing for a top 3 seed in that region. I mean, even if he was still, now Drew Gilmer's there now, I think they're definitely competing for a top 3 seed in that. I don't know, because Vestavia. I don't know what Vestavia lost. I don't know. I know Hewitt Trustful lost their quarterback and their offensive coordinator, who's now the head coach at Baker. Which, look out for Baker in a few years. Out of 7A Region 1, Baker's going to be a pretty good program in a few years.
That Region 2. That's the team I think a lot of people knows about. Of course, Pike County because of
Judkins.
Yeah, we watched them play state. Me and Dean seen them play, and they're really good. I've heard about New Block. We've seen them.
Pike Road. That was Pike Road.
Pike Road. I mean,
yeah, not Pike County.
Yeah, Pike County is a storied program. That Region 2 is basically Region 3A Region 2 from last year, with Dale County and Geneva staying in that region. That's basically almost every team moved up from 3A Region 2 to 4A Region 2. Other than Northside Methodist and Slocum moved down from that region, 4A Region 2, down to 3A Region 2, which I'm sure they're not complaining. Well, I don't know. They might have moved into an even tougher region. I'm not depending on what these teams are doing. And then Wicksburg moves up from 2A Region 2 to 3A Region. We're in 4A Region. I'm getting off track. But in that region, in my opinion, it's going to come down to Pike County Op, who now is coached by Ed Rigby, who left Luverne to go coach at Op. He was previously at Pike Road, and then Eufaula before that. Won a state championship at Elba. And then Strawn, but Strawn also has a brand new head coach, but they were the 3A Region 2 winner last year.
Cherokee County played them 1 year in the playoffs. Strawn.
Yeah. So, if you ask my opinion, and then Ashford, I think Ashford probably takes that number 4 seed. I think Coach David Stapleton's an excellent coach, and I think Ashford is going to be a team that's competing for home playoff games, and maybe by next year.
Now, Region 3, Booker T, I know their coach, he moved on, and they were the news of the town, the Jackson and Booker T game, and they just shocked the world, and the quote from him was, "Why not us?" And I've seen videos and reels on them, and what a shock they was. This Region 3 also contains Hanley, Munford, that St. James team. So I just named 4 really good teams.
Hanley's going to be good
in this Region 3. So
look out
for Hanley play last year.
Yeah, Hanley going. I know they lost some guys, but they always have skilled guys. Coach Strange is he's gonna put together a good football team. We know. So between them and Cleveland County, gosh, what a region! Good Lord, man, 4A Region 3. Good gracious, who's going to be able to even take like you would think the 4th place team in that darn region is going to be good.
Rambo.
Yeah. Look out for Tallahassee. That's where Coach L.A. O'Neill left Booker T. Washington for. So definitely look for Tallahassee to be a playoff team under Coach L.A.
Okay, he went to Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Bullock County with their new offensive coordinator, Coach Cantrell Tyson. He loves to throw the ball. So look for them to have a dynamic passing attack.
This region's loaded.
Handley is one of the toughest teams to get any information about because Coach Strain is so secretive about everything.
Yeah.
Like I texted him to ask him to come on, and he never responded to my text. So
That don't shock me.
Cleburne
Not
County. Funny story about Cleburne County. We played them at their place last year for their homecoming, and we beat them 68-3. So they scheduled because their coach said they asked him about it. He said we scheduled some rinky-dink school in Tallapoosa County, and we still had starters in the game up 68-3. So
wow.
some people would argue poor sportsmanship, but I say chip on our shoulder.
You were talking about Coach Train. Yes, he is private, but I think that's part of what makes him great.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He just kind of
he's an old school coach.
he don't share a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
I mean, when average shows,
we watched him play last year. We watched him. We went there and watched him play Jackson.
No, they were good.
Oh, yeah.
What a game that was! I mean, that game went down. Golly, they got athletes everywhere. Like their lineman, the linebacker, he went to Alabama or something. I mean, his dad played at Alabama. They won their linemen.
They got
Is that the game where the Handley running back ran for like 400 and something yards or 500 yards, like almost broke?
That was the year before.
Did he break the state record, or was it close to breaking the state record for rushing yards in the game?
I don't know. They've had so many. They had one that was good that went to Tennessee, and the next one went to Clemson.
And then they had Tay Meadows before him. Tay
Meadows, that's the one.
Yeah, he's at Troy now. I actually he followed me back on Twitter, and I DM'd him. I'm trying to get him on for an interview.
Does he play?
He's at Troy right now.
Yeah, he's at Troy.
He's in the new college football game. He's my starting running back at Troy, even though, like I said, I'm running the Troy football program into the ground right now.
I'm looking up his stats.
So it looks like that Region 3, and for them to cross up it over here with Region 4.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasant Grove I've seen a lot of stuff on them on Instagram. They got a great facility. And of course, American Christian Academy, they've been, messing around down here in this region for a long time. They're a very well respected program. Oak Grove, I heard a lot about them, and I don't know much about Tarrant or West Blockton. I've heard their, schools mentioned, and of course, Bibb County. I mean, gosh, man, there's been players come out of Bibb County.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So
some
Region 4 is not a slouch, neither alone by itself.
Well, everybody talks about Jackson and Mobile Christian out of 4A South. The team I picked to come out of 4A South and go to the state championship was Pleasant Grove. They were moving down from 5A. Yeah. And I want to say they've been to at least the quarterfinals every year since 2018. That includes 3 consecutive state championship appearances right there in the middle of that.
Pleasant Grove.
Oh, gosh, they're great.
Man. So that's the one I think you can look up online. You can type in like Pleasant Grove, new facilities, and it looks like Alabama.
You've got to. I'm sorry.
Heat tubs, cold tubs, the neon lights, the weight room. It's wild.
They were not the ones that fired all their coaches. That was Ramsey, wasn't it? Yeah, you got to think Pleasant Grove wins that.
Yeah, because Trent Richardson's running back coach at Ramsey.
Yes.
Yeah, Coach Daryl LeBeau is a great coach and a great man, and like I said, Pleasant Grove's my pick, and y'all will find out in a little bit who my pick to come out of 4A North was, because I'm definitely going to talk about them.
Okay,
I think that I agree with you on Pleasant Grove in the South.
I don't think I'll say this. Probably a lot of people, if you're just kind of a passerby and you watch high school football some, or maybe your kids already graduated like mine and you don't do this like we do, this kind of sort of for a living, sort of, they may not know. But if you keep up with football like we do, Pleasant Grove is I think it's going to surprise. I think when people hear it on the radio and they start hearing them go through their schedule, and I think they're going to win a lot of games, I think some people are going to be surprised. I don't think we will be. But a lot of people are going to be like, well, where'd they come from? Pleasant Grove, what?
I think they're going to be a little better than, I don't know.
Better than average.
Yeah. I look for them to win the South.
Could you imagine?
They're for sure winning that. I think they for sure win that region.
Imagine them locking up with, I don't know, let's just say Pleasant Grove and St. James matchup in a playoff. I mean, because that's, Region 3 and 4. Imagine being at that game. That could be a round one game.
Yeah, it could
St. James, well, I'm just saying, what if? We're just making up stuff. If Pleasant Grove's 1 and St. James is 4, but a 4th seed in Region 3 is going to be good. So you're going to have a crazy game. And if they make it through that, well, guess who you got? Who do you get second round? Oh, you get Claiborne County. And if you beat them, well, what if they line up and these other team like may finish second, like, I don't know, like maybe Bibb County. And then they have to line up and play Hanley. Guys, we're talking about those are good football games.
I guarantee Bibb County does not want to see Hanley because they saw them back-to-back years in 2020 and 2021, and Hanley handled them pretty handily. So I can guarantee Bibb County probably. I don't know. I apologize, Coach Strain, if y'all do match up with Bibb County and I give them bulletin board material, but I don't think Bibb County. I don't. The only Region 4 team I see that would compete with Hanley is probably Pleasant Grove. I don't think any other Region 4 teams even coming close to competing.
No, usually that Region 4, that American Christian Academy, they always have some quarterback that's throwed for 8,000 yards, and I don't know about them this year because I lost them last year.
Yeah,
and I don't know about them this year.
Yeah, their quarterback Kai Young. I don't know if he's a junior or senior this year, but I know he's really good. And then they got a running back who has the same last name as the Collinsville coach, Ernie Willingham. They got a running back named Willingham who's freaking huge. Like, that dude's a bowling ball. So, I mean, they're a good team, but they just that region that they're in, like, those teams usually aren't as. I don't want to say, like, they're usually not as physical. So when they match up with a Hanley or a Booker T. Washington or in years past Viger when they were in 4A, they just got manhandled at the line of scrimmage. I mean, so that's been a problem. Maybe they can fix that, but I think they can. They've got a really good coach in Chad Martin, but that's just what I've noticed about them. That all the teams out of that region just get, like, I know that one year Hanley matched up three games in a row. Hanley was a Region 4 team that year. They matched up with Montevallo, Bibb County, and American Christian 3 years. It was 2020, the year Hanley won state. And Hanley just manhandled all three of those teams at the line of scrimmage. Like, Hanley was just way more physical. So Bibb County probably gave them the toughest game out of all. And that's just because Bibb County is always huge on the offensive line.
Yeah, that's a lot of good info there for those teams. And basically, I think we could sum it all up with this. Everybody's talking about Jackson, and Zeke and Duckworth, which is well worth. They are great athletes, and they're going to have a great football team. But don't let the news swallow up Pleasant Grove, because they could also they're also going to. We'll think they'll probably be known, and we can never count out Coach Strange and Hanley. Of course, Mobile Christian. Those cats are going to have good teams. So looking up here this way. 4A Region 8, I'll give you one that I was just kind of tooling around looking at, kind of not new to the area there, but they're up from 3A Region 8. That's Madison Academy, 6-0 region. Lost the only game they lost was 55-28. They lost to Mobile Christian, who won the darn thing.
They're going to be tough.
And
they
moved
up, right?
And then Mobile moves to 4, and then Madison moves from 3 to 4. So teams moving up. Yeah, I know. Teams moving up don't always mean bad. Sometimes it can be a bad year. But, knowing the kind of teams that they put together and the athletes they have around that area, I think Region 8 will be – that'll be I think it could be their region besides it could be their region to lose, okay, for as far as Region 8, 4A. Dean, tell us about Region 8, somebody else.
Well, I agree with you 100%. I think it's Madison Academy's to lose, but I do think North Jackson's going to make it back to the playoffs and be one of the top teams in there because they have a great history and they've got 2 stud running backs.
They do.
As far as we know, they're still playing there. They went 4-7 last year, but they had a tough schedule, and they're in there with Randolph and Madison County, Plainview, Madison Academy. I think North Jackson will really make a good run this year and be a lot better.
Yeah, St. Paul the second. Don't know much about them.
I don't know much about them.
DAR, we've heard about them.
I don't think they'll struggle. I think North Jackson may be
them and Madison Academy.
I think it'd be them and Madison Academy.
And Plainview is they're a big school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got a lot of kids up there. So Region 7, I'm just going to run through them and mention Deshler. They're always a prominent program, and they're probably one of the most known, talked about probably teams that's going to be in that region now. Now, West Morgan lost a lot of players last year, and I know some people's kind of, putting them up on top 10, and they absolutely could be. They played Cherokee County, one of their better games last year. I was there at West Morgan at the game. Them and Cherokee County actually got behind there a little bit and got their heads up, buddy, and they had to come back. And Tay goes off there at the end of the game and makes some big plays. And Jacob had a lot of rushing that night too. So, but that Deshler team is somebody that I'm curious about. They was only 6-1. I mean, they just had that one loss last year. So,
I like Brooks in that region. They're 8-5 last year, but here's why I like them. Quarterback back, 1,900 yards. Running back 1,600.
Oh, yeah.
I think Brooks will go the third or fourth round.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Well, you got players back like that.
Yeah,
1,900 yards. That's good.
That quarterback's name. I want to say it's Garrett Kimbrough. I want to say is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a 1,600 yard back.
Yeah, and if they can lock in their linemen and keep the holes open, let him continue to run, then
of course they've got to deal with West Morgan and Deshler.
Yeah.
But I think that's a team to watch. Brooks, definitely.
Has Deshler ever won a state champ? Deshler's been to a lot of state championships.
They won one when I was in school, but I graduated in the 90s.
Yeah, I was wondering. I know recently that they went to that state championship game against Thomasville. They played UMS Wright one year. I want to say they played one more state championship game.
I think they've won one, maybe two.
I can't remember who they. No, they played Hanley, and no, that was Madison Academy that played. Did they play Hanley? Was it?
They've been to it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they've been there 3 or 4 times since like 2010, I believe.
Oh, I know.
I don't think they've won one. I know UMS Wright shut them out 52-0 in that game.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that was. I'm looking at their football history here, but I think Brooks is the team to beat in that region.
I'll tell you, the Region 6 team that they're kind of new into this region. This is going to be in the region with our local team here. Cherokee County. Always curious about Anniston. Anniston always has athletes. They was 4-2 in their region last year, but they lost to Jacksonville and Hanley. Okay, so there's no, when you lose to those teams, nobody goes, "Golly, what'd you do? How'd you blow that one, Coach?"
You suck. Hey,
it's okay if you like.
Deshler's won 3. Didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah. They won it all in the 90s.
Yeah. They had some. I know they had some D1 guys, and I can't think of who it was, but I remember seeing their names. But Anniston. Yeah,
Deshler. Well, that Dion Ballou played there.
That's who it is, Dion Ballou.
Their quarterback, Cameron Sandlin, went to South Carolina as an athlete. I don't know
what position he played.
Yes. But yeah, Anniston, yeah.
Now, Anniston is going to be in this region with Cherokee County. They're going to open with 5A Beauregard, who went 6-5 last year, and they lost to Gulf Shores late in the season, 48-7. Beauregard did. So I'm curious about Anniston. They always every time I see them play, they usually have the most athletes on the field.
I'll be honest with you, the year that Andalusia won it, we thought Anniston would win it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Well, they got the guys, man. I mean, they had a lineman that's at, where'd he wind up, Bama or Auburn or somewhere?
And Andalusia upset them. I mean, they came back and beat them. Yeah.
I know Anniston's going to have – they got a second-year head coach in Rico Jackson. Their original coach, the coach that year you're talking about, where Andalusia came back and beat them, was Rico White. He moved on to May Jemison to rebuild that program, which I believe he's going to do a fantastic job. He's a fantastic coach, but
he is.
Anniston is I'm gonna spoil it. My pick to go to the state championship out of 4A North is from Region 6. And most people are going to say Cherokee County. Anniston is actually the team I picked and to play Pleasant Grove. And the funny part is they play each other in the regular season too. So
That's interesting.
I picked a rematch in the state championship game. That Anniston was my pick. I'm always high on Anniston. They've always got athletes. They got a lot returning too.
They just always have to get it to when everybody in the state knows it. I mean, especially up here, if they ever put it together, they're dangerous.
They are, but they go. I mean, one of the maddest times that I think I talked Matt into leaving this game, and I told him that I didn't talk him into it. He left and went back.
Oh, no, I didn't go back.
They're destroying Piedmont one night, and they just go on cruise control, and Piedmont nearly comes back and beats them.
Yeah, Bun texted me. He's like, I was at the gas station at Piedmont. It's like, hey, Jack just threw a touchdown, and then they got something and got onside. I don't know. Something happened. Piedmont scored 2 real quick.
This happened in 6 minutes, guys.
And I was like, what? I just left the game. He's like, you better come. I was like, I'm not coming back. So I listened on the radio home, and of course, Jack being Jack Hayes, because he's Superman. I mean, he can just do about anything. He's playing baseball now at college.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know, man. If they put it all together, they're definitely always media people are going to favor them because they know they got athletes now. In Region 5,
a lot.
In Region 5, I want to mention Dora. Dora was 5-1 on the road last year, so they're a roadworthy team. They were 9-3 all over, and they lost to 3A Winfield in the opener last year on the road. That was their only loss, was on the road there away. Now Priceville, they're going to went to the 5A Region 7. They went 5-7 last year. Then they're going to open with 6A Columbia of Huntsville. So that was somebody else I kind of threw in there to see how it was. But Dora and Dora is same way. Like, in this region, can they get in there and scrap and fight and play with, Fayette County, and we can look at their schedule and play with them. Yeah, I'm curious. These are teams that I'm curious about. I'm curious about Dora. I want to see how they kind of do in this Region 5 here.
Well,
Cordova is an old team that Cedar Bluff always had a rival way back in the day when you played.
Right.
I've kind of got away from them, I think, time I got up.
Is a team to watch just because they've got the foot speed. These other teams, I just don't think this is a great region overall. Region 5, you've got Dora, you've got Fultondale, Fayette County, Hamilton, Curry, Haley. And I'm not taking nothing away from them. They're good in their own right, but compared to the other regions, no, I don't think we'll see any of these teams deep. I got Cordova highlighted just because they bring back a bunch of seniors, and they went 2-8 last year though. And in Region 6, I had Hoax Bluff. JB Hoax Bluff moved up from 3A. They went 5-6. That's tough, but we know a coach down there.
Yeah,
and they've got pretty much everybody back, but they got to contend with Etowah, Aniana, Anniston, Cherokee County.
Yeah, Cherokee County just winning, whatever it is. And we don't have to be homers you don't have to be a homer, to feel like Cherokee County to be a favorite. And I know Coach Kelly,
they're going to be good again.
He's loving it because he hates us. It's rat poison. Because the kids hear it and they don't. He's trying to tell them, you're terrible. You got to work hard every day. You try to keep them humble, and that's true. And I know, and he loves it when people pick against him. And JB just put up bulletin board, more material. Reeltown, JB from Reeltown has just said to Anniston's picked to win the region. Coach Kelly's going to print that out and put it on the whiteboard, and he's going to love it. And the kids are going to get more fired up.
Well, now Coach Kelly's
they've won it 2 years in a row, and their defense. They're not really lost anybody. And the run game is not going to just disappear. It's not going to disappear. Now, Jacob is gone. He was, he broke the school records. But a lot of people still are going to kind of favor them to, especially to win the region.
Well, the thing about Kelly is he's improved every year he's been at center, but he's getting to the point now where you can't improve anymore. How do you improve off 13-1?
I know.
I mean, you don't get better.
And with 18 seniors, you just, the next step is the blue map.
That's the only thing. He's nearly capped out.
I mean, what else can the man do?
That's the only thing they haven't done, or gone undefeated.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Two things.
With all those seniors back, which is I can't keep that a secret anymore because, we talked about it yesterday, and from teams from the South is going to watch. They want to know about Cherokee County. Now they know how many seniors they got, so they think, well, darn, man, you serious? Like, this is his best team, and he's been to state 2 times in a row, and this is his best team? He's going to have the most seniors this year?
Well, we went 5, 7, 8, 12, 13. So now he's got 14 and 15 to go.
Yeah.
I mean, he could do it. He's a good coach.
And their young class, too, is, let me tell you, they got athletes. They're not going away.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there is coming a year, and I don't mean this, I hope he don't take this wrong. There's going to come a year that he don't improve because he can't.
Well, when you go undefeated, well, what do I do? Like, schedule Alabama?
We're going to go, okay, we got one more scheduled game. We're going to go 16-0.
We've tried to get another one. AHSA let us put another game.
Yeah, his improvement record is fixing to end because, like I said, he's hit the ceiling.
Yeah, they know that. JB from Region 5, and we talked about some of them. Is there anybody that's jumps off the page at you? Uh-oh.
We lose?
Yeah. Is there anybody on the page in Region 5, JB, that jumps off the page for you on that Region 5?
Region 5, honestly, I'd say Fultondale might be a sleeper team. I think they're going into year 3 under their coach. I believe his name's Hanley, or is it Keon Hanley? I want to say is his name. Okay. And I think they were a playoff team last year. So, and it's not a very tough region at all. But I'd say
it's not.
Dora's probably because Cordova's got a brand new coach. I don't know anything about really anybody else. I know Dora's usually really good, but other than that
is that the weakest region in 4A?
I would think so. I'd probably say it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
But yeah, I heard you talk. I gave Coach Kelly Bulletin more material. So
yeah,
hey Coach, take that bulletin board material and go bring a state championship to center.
Yeah, there you go.
He'll be all right.
Yeah,
we were just saying he can't.
Yeah, I mean,
he's about capped out.
I mean,
but he got to win one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're hungry.
We want it. We don't have to win one.
No, right.
But that's where their goal is.
I think he'll get. I mean, he's a really young coach. He's going to get a few in his career, I believe.
He'll take a 10-5 record with a state championship. I guarantee.
Coach Short. I hadn't been on the page side, Coach Short. I'm not ignoring you. I was on the tab looking at all these, all the regions and stuff. So I'm not ignoring you. Let me go back through this for Coach Short. Because he's the guy here. We definitely respect his opinion. Coach Short says Houston Academy, they are a sleeper, and they do have a great coaching staff. He didn't break the rushing record. Yeah. And North Jackson is very good on defense. And Anniston picked up the running back from Welborn and QB from he left.
QB from where?
Oh wow.
Anniston got the run. I told you a while ago the running back from Welborn left. Yeah. He went to Anniston.
Yeah, well,
and they got the QB from Sac. So
wow,
Anniston's gonna be hard, man.
And I was gonna say Sacs was one of my sleeper teams in Region 6 because I think Coach Alfonso Freeney going into his second year. I think he's a great coach, but that's a really tough region to be in.
Their quarterback said from Sacs is at Anniston now.
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
And I knew they were working on a turf field at Anniston, so they have a turf now. And Hoax Bluff, well, he thinks Coach Short feels like Hoax Bluff will get in the 4th spot.
I think Hoax Bluff's going to be okay.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys back. And Coach Sexton, we know him. They coach hard, and we look for them to be able to do a good job. So
I think they would have really, which it doesn't matter. I think they really would have been tough in that 3A.
Yeah.
That region that they were in with Ohatchee and Piedmont and that bunch, Westbrook.
Well, it's kind of back to that region's kind of back to that Region 6 4A, kind of one that we're familiar with. You got we're Cherokee County, Etowah, Hoax Bluff, White Plains, Alexandria, and Anniston.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I remember, come over here as a young person and watching, Cherokee County games.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this region. I want to say
tough
that with everything that we've been through and talked about tonight, The last classification before I did not like. I thought it was terrible. I covered it live, and I remember texting, I'm not going to say who, somebody very high up and well respected in sports media, and he was also disappointed in some of how they lined them up. But this time, I know 4A had a big global mess, and like Coach Kelly talked about yesterday, hey, I'm making my schedule. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. We're moving that team out in Ashton's. What? Wait
Nobody wants to play them.
And two, it's hard for him to make a schedule because like nobody wanted to play Cherokee County.
And his region they were just so much better than their region.
Yeah. And now they got this old school region back, and they got these old Alexandria, Anniston, White Plains, Hopes Bluff, Etowah, which Etowah and Oneonta's been there, but it's a good historical region. I like all these regions. They're pretty good. Now, sometimes you can't help it because geographically, there's just areas that you just can't do nothing about. So you just can't. Like there was one region we talked about. Well, there's probably, two really good teams, and the other ones are it's going to be hard.
Right.
And the coaches know they're not stupid, and we're not going against kids. We love all the kids, and not every kid works out and does a rep just like a kid does at Hoover, just like they do at Gillsville. We're for all of it. So I like this new classifications. I'm excited for the season. We've all talked about a lot of teams. We're curious about these teams and where they're going to land, and we can have picks and kind of where we feel like some teams may line up, and then some of these teams we may have picked may wind up not winning but 4 or 5 games. I don't know. I mean, if a kid gets hurt, because some of these, we're talking about small schools, JB, and you know this too. Dude, you get your quarterback hurt, and it completely changes the football season for 1, 2, 3 3A school.
Oh yeah,
because in that case, you might not just be losing your quarterback on offense. In our case last year, Jake Hornsby was our quarterback on both offense and defense. So had he went down, you're losing a lot of leadership on both sides of the ball. Or Tay Martin, if he went down, he's playing receiver, running back, safety, kick returner, punt returner for us.
You can't have it.
It's like Marcus plays everywhere. He loses the chin strap button. God, you got to find the chin strap button. What is going on here?
You don't want to lose this day. The biggest loss on the team is the center.
Yeah, my son played center, and we were at a game at North Sand Mountain, and he lost the button on his chin strap on his helmet, and people were going nuts because you don't want to put in the second team center that hadn't took any snaps all year.
No,
because that center quarterback exchange is kind of important, especially playing North Sand Mountain.
Yeah, especially now with the shotgun.
Yeah, because you got a rhythm with your quarterback and how you get there. So small schools, we could pick all these teams to be pretty good and have their runs, but and God bless all the coaches for what you do. And I know that not all, but a lot of these coaches at schools that we've talked about, thank you, men, for what you do for helping our young boys become good men and good Christian men. And you're doing it, a lot of them, the ones we're talking about, especially small schools, they're doing it for not a lot of money.
Yes.
They don't make a lot of money.
No.
This is not like, some bigger schools like Gulf Shores and them, they have money to pay coaches a lot of money. And some of these schools we talk about, there's not a big benefit from being a head coach. And you're mowing the grass, driving the bus, taking kids home after school, buying kids cleats if they can't afford them, or they want those cool gloves, and you take money out of your account to put $1,000 into something to help the kids have the cool arm sleeves because you want your team and your kids to feel good, and that needs to be said because we have a lot of great coaches. And I'm glad that I'm excited. I'm glad you come on here, JB, because you really broke down a lot of football for us.
Yeah, you did a good job.
If they left this show, that you have to know what's going on in the South.
Yeah,
and we went 1 through 4A, and you even brought up some 5, 6, 7A teams, but and we don't get deep into them because
we just can't. We can't identify with it.
We went to school at a 1A school, and everybody we know played both ways, and everybody, even over here at Center at Cherokee County, a lot of their kids play both ways too.
Well, it's getting to where now we can probably get to the point to where we can identify a little bit with 5A, because 5A schools now back years ago, they were the 4As.
Yep. Yes. And do you think, and we'll get off here, but I want to ask you about this, and we'll get off here and let everybody go put their feet up. With this new classifications and Cedar Bluff has been up to 2A twice now. Do you think at some point that 1As are just going to generally float away, and Alabama's going to become a little more, not as like Georgia, but more like Georgia, where you start, mashing these small schools and putting them in?
And your 1As are huge, and your 2As have 1,000 kids.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to eventually go away, especially after NIL gets passed this year?
Well, I don't. If you ask my opinion, I think eventually we're going to go to 8 classifications. Because if you look at 7A, the difference between the biggest 7A school and the smallest 7A school is almost 1,000 students. So if you ask me, like you could take like, I mean, I think eventually there's a chance there could be 8 classifications. I don't know necessarily that 1A would like necessarily go away, but maybe you could eventually blend in like 1A and 2A, like. Because with the thing with the state of Georgia is like a 1A in the state of Georgia is like a 3 or 4A here in the state.
650 kids.
Yeah, Dean coaches he's at Chattooga. He coaches over there at Chattooga in Georgia, and like the small 1A schools in Georgia, we know their numbers are very comparable to Cherokee County schools here.
Oh yeah, well Chattooga's bigger than Cherokee County, and they're 1A.
Chattooga's a 1A in Georgia, and they're bigger. They got more students than
800 students.
They got
you just have to look like Callaway, Georgia, for example, is a 2A school, and they play Opelika pretty much every year now, and Opelika
beat them, don't they?
7A school. Now that's a 7A in Alabama playing a 2A in Georgia, and Callaway. I don't know the exact series record. I know Callaway's beat them at least one time, and then there was one time Opelika won a 10-7 absolute defensive thriller. So I mean, Callaway you can take Eufaula this year. They're playing Early County, Georgia. Early County plays a lot of those 5A teams in the Wiregrass area. And they're a 1A Georgia team playing a 5A Alabama team. So,
right.
At some point, I think it is what it is. And at some point, some of the small schools they'll just kind of start, the game of football is just going to change in general as we know it. So we'll kind of leave it at that. And we could stay on here and talk all night with JB. We gotta have you back on soon.
Oh yeah,
the season gets kicked off for sure. When stuff starts kicking off down there, and you start seeing some of these teams, that you're talking about, we'll bring you back on here and let you talk about some of these predictions we've had, and we'll tell each other where we're crazy and where we really missed the team, and then we'll brag on each other and say where we really found out a good team. So we appreciate your time, brother, and I do appreciate you, and God bless you, and you're doing a fantastic job. You really know what you're doing, and don't worry so much about thumbnails and what cameras you have. I've seen guys do great content holding their phone in their mom's basement and have 1,000 people to watch. So just continue to do what you do, because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So
no doubt about
that's going to, when people see you talking about it, they're going to say, well, hey, wait a minute now. He knows what's going on here. So you're on the path, and just keep continuing to do what you do. And, anything I can do to help, I'm always just a message away. You message me, but stay in touch. Through the week, every week, I want to hear from you and how things are going, and send me keep sending me your stuff, and I like listen to them, your interviews, and let me know how things are going. And hang in there, man, and keep doing what you're doing.
Nice to meet you, man.
Hey, nice to meet you too, and I appreciate y'all having me on. And I know pretty soon I'm looking at going back to working overnights, so that means like any Sunday, like right before I go into work, I'll be available to, come on anytime y'all need me to. So. Or if y'all want to record something throughout the week, it doesn't matter to me. I'll come on anytime. I just love talking football.
Yeah, yes, definitely, man. You did a great job. You keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, JB from Reeltown. Please go find his page on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. If you don't know what's going on,
knows what he's talking about there, don't he?
You're going to find out, because he knows coaches and the players and
knowledgeable.
Yeah. So
I put down 9 players that he named off to me to watch.
Yeah, teams keep eye on. So if you don't know about football in the South, go find Real Talk with Reeltown.
Yeah, he's good.
JB. And like I said, I kind of bumped into him. I don't even remember how. I'd shared a video or something about, because I always share Reeltown stuff. I try to spread a little news everywhere. And I think he may have messaged me and said something about, hey, they're going to do this or that. And we just got to talking, and he told me what he's trying to do. And so I like making thumbnails.
Well, the difference I
So
noticed.
I made him a thumbnail, and so he had his logo. I said, that don't look good. Let me make you something, and I'll give it to you. And I'm not charging nobody now. Let me make you something, so you can look,
And which we did that tonight because we don't know a lot of these teams, but you hear some guys, they'll talk about all these teams in the South, and they'll just state that they think they're going to be good. This guy hadn't knew why.
Yeah, and here's why they're going to be good.
And this is their coach.
Yes, like we can talk about more teams up here. Here's why we think, some of these teams are going to be good. Here's the coach. Here's his record. Here's who he has back. And here's what he has done. Now, we don't know about the future always, but
Right.
but for the South, and he had good opinions on the North.
He did.
And like which I knew this, and I'm glad that Coach Short brought it up. Thank you, Coach Short. With Aniston getting that, the quarterback from Sax, and of course I knew the
running back from Wilburn. Gonna be good. Gonna be good.
So Aniston is gonna be. There'll be a handful. That 4A region for Cherokee County. And
we need to tell Kelly that. I don't know if he knows.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're kidding. We're kidding, Coach Kelly. We know he knows.
Yeah, he's probably known for
when it happened.
He knew it way before anybody else.
Yeah. I like everything we went through tonight, guys. If you love this stuff, next week we'll be back with some college, maybe our favorite matchups and some top running backs and receivers. And the next few weeks, that's what we'll do. We'll start talking about matchups, week 1 through whatever. We may look at a week 10 matchup.
Yeah.
So we'll start going through them. And
it's not too far away. We'll be doing
right now. We're going to finish watching Rambo. So we'll pop some popcorn and watch Rambo. So y'all guys have a fantastic evening. Dean, what a breakdown we had tonight.
Yeah, good job.
We always have a long high school show. I knew it was going to be 2 hours. That's why I ate some rolls and some honey butter dip before I come on.
I didn't know. What time is it?
Yeah, it's 8:30 nearly. I knew we was going to do a 2-hour show. Let's see. Coach Short, Georgia went back to 6 classifications this year.
Made it a lot harder on everybody, didn't it?
Yeah, me and Coach Kelly was Ryan that does pictures. Thank you, Ryan. Shout out to him for doing pictures at Media Day. Everybody don't know, and Coach Kelly knows Georgia football. He played there, coached there. His dad, his uncles, is connected. Trevor Lawrence and all that tree. We're telling Ryan a little bit about Benedictine.
Yeah,
and he was telling about, I think it's St. Paul's is the girls division of their academy. Like it's just boys at Benedictine Academy and just the girls.
St. Paul's.
I think it's St. Paul. So we're kind of explaining how that works in Georgia and how it is in Alabama. And it's just geographically, man, there's just so many darn schools in Georgia. Because you can look at 5-star ratings for high schools in Georgia kids. There's like 15, and in Alabama will have like 5. And they're like, well, why is? Well, because they got there's the population around the metro Atlanta area is about the whole population of Alabama.
Yes.
Am I close?
Yeah. No, you probably more.
So that's why. It's just more people.
Yeah.
It's just more. If you have a bigger population, you're probably going to have more athletes.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about Buford, Mills Creek, Grayson. I think he said there was Buford had 1 year 26 offered D. Their second team players have D1 offers.
See, they need to split. I know this sounds stupid, but they might need to split those teams.
Buford
Who
A,
you playing?
Buford
Grayson 1, Grayson 2.
Yeah.
Buford A, Buford B. Come on, man.
Their second team.
Nobody's going to beat those teams.
They had a second team linebacker that went to Clemson. He didn't even play much. He's at Clemson. I don't know if he is now.
I think they ought to break back off and have. I don't know.
They went down to 6. They need to be at 10.
There's 8 or 9 classes in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah,
but there's 1,400 high schools in Florida.
Andrew,
1,400
at Powerhouse Sports there. He knows a lot about that Panhandle, Florida. And Coach Metlock that was at Cedar Bluff and helped for a while too.
Yeah.
And they both told me there's a lot of crime in some of those areas that a player's dad helped. I don't know, help with the receivers or something. He pulled a gun on the head coach in the office somewhere in a Florida. There's some rough places down there.
You got to be careful. They're serious about their football, too.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff's changed in high school football this year. So we look forward to keeping you guys covered through the year. And go find Michael Short and John Holder Friday night. They'll have a show that they do, High School Football Alabama. You can find them over on Facebook. They'll be live over there on Friday nights in the season. And we'll bring you all the news that we can every Sunday night at 6 o'clock. We'll break down the day's games before on Saturday, and we'll talk about our Friday night games. We'll have a player of the week like we always do. And we try to get every team at least 2 player of the week. Sometimes we figure it out.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes because if they're off this week and if we don't get to see some teams this year, Trey County's going to go on a lot this year. Have you seen their schedule? Man, they're going to be going a lot this year.
Yeah.
They're going like Shades Valley and Arab.
Arab.
Yeah, so they're going. I'm not going to get to see them quite as much, but we look forward to keeping you covered. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, man. We come on here and talk football with you guys for 2 hours about high school football to keep you informed. This is what we do, and I enjoyed digging into this stuff and looking at all of it. And Dean did a great job. JB, appreciate all y'all and watchers and of the channel at home.
Yes, sir.
So we'll catch y'all next week. Show 244 is in the books. That's
244.
Cut it off, son. Let's go. Get out of here.